sit and talk with Mike. Like, just to have a conversation and just to pick his brain. Like, I would love that.
I'll just let somebody else go.
Yeah, we do have Miss Cece up here. What's good, Miss C?
Hi. Nothing is.
All right, how to do, Miss Mel?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Is zero.
Doing great, doing great. You want to answer the prompt for us real quick?
Yes. Okay. The Christian religion has a theological flaw. What is it? That is a good question. When I think of it, I have multiple theological flaws. What is it called? I'm sorry, I can't think of the word right now, but like different stories, inconsistencies between stories would be my theological flaw. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it do make sense, but like go a little deeper.
Okay, so like if I have Peter and John telling me two different things about Jesus' resurrected physical body, it has me start to ask questions about whether or not Jesus resurrected into a physical body or into a ghostly body or both.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I don't want to call it historical inconsistencies. I can't think of the word for it, but like those are kind of my biggest my biggest theological flaws with it.
Okay.
Like
appreciate that.
Of course. Hi everybody.
contradictory accounts, or maybe accounts that don't align. Oh, contradiction, yeah, something like this.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm all hungry, so my brain not working all the way.
No, you're doing
good.
really.
It's
You
all
explained
good.
it well, I think, actually.
I'm about to get myself together. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And before we go any further, I want to give a quick little PSA. Let me take the timer off of Mike. We can just do just a quick. It only really have to be a mod break. We do appreciate all the 49 people who are in here. If you are just coming on in here, or if you've been here for a good minute, like I said, I am on all social media platforms, so you can follow me at the Omnius Roan on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. Right, and you already here on the Tiki Talkie, so be sure to hit the follow button, hit the follow button, hit the follow button, hit the follow button, and hit the follow button. Right, and I'm also, like I said, I'm on YouTube. So turn on all notifications. I will be posting a YouTube video tonight. Okay, so be sure to hit that follow. Find me on YouTube. Turn on all notifications over there. Like I said, also we do have the deconstruction bundle kit. It's 20% off because it is Black History Month. And yes, I said Black History Month because Black History is 365 over here. All right, so go to the link in my bio for more information on that. But yeah, let's go back to the live discussion, everybody. What I do find interesting, and I want to piggyback on something that Cece was talking about, is it is a very interesting concept of the different perspectives around Christ. And when you try to make this idea of Christianity singular and exclusive, like in the beginning of the live stream, I was saying that's where a lot of things fall apart. But at the same time, like for me, especially with my perspective as being omnist, I think that there is beauty in diversity. And I think there's beauty in everybody having their own perspective or like idea around who they deem to be the Christ in a sense, right? And so for me, I think like I've been studying a lot concerning like early Christianity or the history of early Christianity, and dealing with the fact that there were Christianities in the world was a very interesting like concept that I had to like, I guess in a sense I had to deconstruct that.
How so?
I had to deconstruct that like back in 2024, coming to a realization that in the first to second century everybody did not see Jesus Christ the same way. Like for me, I always thought in my mind, like, oh, okay, Paul did his little missionary stuff, and then it kind of just expand through there. Because in church we kind of just always taught that Paul was the front runner for the Christian faith, and that wasn't the case. Even if you read some of his epistles, he tries to warn these other churches that if you hear a gospel, if you hear somebody who is teaching you like another perspective around Christ than what we have, let them be accursed, right? He's insinuating that there are other people who have other perspectives that's going against his narrative, and it's kind of like competitive in a sense. So
Polemic.
it's a very interesting, it's a very interesting idea to think about.
There's
Yeah, you can go ahead, John.
Did we lose him?
That's what I was trying to
don't
figure
know.
out.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
There he is.
Yeah, we can hear
Oh,
you
my
now.
bad. Yeah, there's this concept of like a polemic that I've just recently been coming across, and like a polemic would be something like Kendrick and Drake, they not like us. That the way that you would write it would be basically to try to incite like a tribal feeling. Paul does this, Jesus does this, and things like this, and it seems like the New Testament is a little bit of a polemic against the Old Testament in some ways. Like, for example, Jesus is saying, don't think I've come to accuse you. He says, Moses is your accuser, your opponent, your Satan or whatever. He is your accuser on whom your hopes are set, right? Because they're like in a law-keeping sort of mindset. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? That the text, it can't be a unified, like inerrant document because there's 66 books. It's like a library of documents, and they are speaking from different points of view, different perspectives, different rhetorical goals, and things like that.
Yeah,
It's kind of impossible.
I think that's what kind of
see it as one book like that.
I think that's what kind of shook my perspective around Christ recently, studying into ancient Christianities, is understanding that even if we're dealing with like for me, I lean towards more of the mystical or esoteric way of interpreting Christ. But when I understood that there's even other perspectives that expand or go beyond that other people had in terms of Christ, it gave a lot of perspective for me. But yeah, I love how you broke that down, because when you read the Gospels, I think it's intentional that they depict the Pharisees and the people who follow the law to be not only hypocritical but narcissistic, very condescending, very mean, and I think it's a narrative that they write in there so that the people who follow Christ can have that, I guess, passion, or they can be kind of indoctrinated into like turning against the people who follow the law, or turning against the people who are according to their tradition.
The other, whoever the
and
other
I don't think, whoever the other is. And I don't think, like, in just studying it historically and like reading into like different books about early Christianity, from my studies, like the Hebrew people did not carry themselves like that, the way that you kind of see in the gospel. Not to say that it's historically or in historically accurate or anything like that, but just the narrative that they tried to push about the Hebrew people is very what's the word I'm looking for?
Bible.
Like almost, like opinionated, in a sense. Like it was intentional for them to create that narrative to kind of make the Hebrew people or the Pharisees look like the bad guys.
So if I may, I spent some time talking with some Messianic Jews and Messianic rabbis, and one of the things that I've learned from them, because I also had to realize I live in the Western Hemisphere. This is a Eastern book. I don't have the context that I need in order to understand some of the things that are in said book. With that being said, the thing that I gathered from them is that a lot of what we see in the New Testament is a callback to the Old Testament. And that was something that even I had to wrestle with. And so, like, a lot of the things dealing with the law, like Yeshua himself said, I did not come to, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember word for word, but it's like, I'm not coming to destroy it, but I'm actually coming to fulfill it. Like, everything that you couldn't do within the law yourself, I can't do away with the law, but what I can do is fulfill everything in the law and then give you that pathway back. And so I had to learn that a lot of it was a callback. And when I started to trace back and forth between the Old and the New Testament, I started to see that picture painted more clearly. Now, are there some things that I still wrestle with? Of course.
Can I give an example
I have a question. How come a lot of Christians they believe that the Old Testament is like irrelevant?
Ooh, uh, one from what I've understand and the conversations that I've had personally, because a lot of it shows the human inadequacy of I don't have the ability to get it right of my own accord. And it shows that there is a need for something greater than ourselves in order to help get us to where we need to be. And so for a lot of times, a lot of Christians don't like that because what has been taught in Western society is a very much do it yourself, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But then when you look at the Old Testament, if we were never designed not only to live together, but for someone greater than us, not to rule over us, but to be in partnership with us, then we would never have a need for a savior. But because we couldn't do it on our own, it's like, okay, cool. Y'all have this first half of human history to where I'm just letting y'all run wild. I have a plan in motion through all of your humanity that I'm taking into account. Through all of it's a divine design. Through all of it, I have a design. You might not like it, you might not understand it, that's okay. But a lot of Christians don't like that. And my encouragement to them is sit in the uncomfortability. Sit in the ouchie. Like we're not gonna understand everything, and that's okay. But be brave enough to wrestle with it.
In Second Corinthians, like Paul, when he writes, he talks about Moses receiving a message and it was glorious, right? It was so glorious he had to wear a veil to prevent the Israelites from seeing, how glorious it was. But then he goes on and he says that he continued to wear the veil, not because of the glory, but so that they wouldn't see the end of what was passing away. And then he compares it to the ministry of the Spirit. And he says that what was once glorious has no glory compared to this different ministry. I'm of the mind that this new ministry of the Spirit is where it's not based on survival or on law keeping, that it's like, thou shalt not do this, don't touch that. That's primitive. That is like how I talk to my toddler. It's now, no, you can have a relationship with God through the Spirit. And if you have love, if you have joy, if you have peace, if you have kindness, if you have patience, if you have gentleness, these different things, then you really don't have to obey some kind of law, because you're already doing what you're made to do. You're already doing what you're supposed to do, kind of a thing. And I'm curious about that. That seems like let's leave the old survival laws behind so that we can just walk as we were intended to walk, something like that.
Well, can
I gotta piggyback off this, man, because what I'm looking up right now is something that I usually don't hear Christians talk about. And we always talk about the 7 deadly sins, but nobody talk about the 7 heavenly virtues, and he just brought them up. We need to focus as humans. I don't even care if you're Christian or not. You need to focus on humility, charity, chastity, kindness, temperance, patience, and diligence. And if everybody on the earth tries to focus on that will be better off. I don't care what religion you prescribe to, or even if you're atheist. If you do those things, your life will be good.
I actually wanted to go ahead, C, and I'll go after you.
Thanks. I agree with you, Fox. I more so wanted to touch on what Joshua said. Don't you feel as though that's a theological flaw in itself? If the main goal of the new covenant is not to abolish the old covenant, yet at the same time, it seems like from what you said that it is abolishing the old covenant.
I would say that it does seem that way. I think that the old covenant, I may read it a little bit different than Christians normally read it. I think that the law, what I was saying there was that there's this having a relationship through the Spirit that doesn't have to do with law keeping, that I think is a little bit truer to the source of what's happening. Like the real like getting really connected again isn't going to happen through the law. I think every Christian would agree with that. I think the way they go about it is to be hyper grace, and that they can just do whatever they want, and God's going to save them because they believe the right things. And I think that's a flaw. I think that what Jesus is really trying to show, in my opinion, is that he has this relationship, and if you can see that he has this connection, that he's embodying this way, then you can also have this connection. You can also embody the same way of being. I don't read it as a singular document that's inerrant, though. I read it as a library of documents, a library of perspectives. And I'm a little bit closer to the omnis view than I thought I was, I guess.
And with everything everybody said, I definitely agree. And I think with what I'm about to express that I think is a theological flaw is definitely, for me at the moment, is the relationship between God and the devil. Because none of this would be a conversation if there wasn't evil. And I know within the Christian stance, it's like, okay, we have choice or we have free will. However, within that choice, what complicated the story of humanity is the presence of the serpent and the devil. So it's like, is it a case where maybe Christians just don't want to accept that maybe that God allowed a devil, well, created the devil, allowed the devil to be how he is because he saw that it was best for humanity to be tested, because it would be our nature to where when something detrimental or whatever happens to us, it would be a great learning gain. Because then if Christians, I think, was to say that, then it would conclude and definitely where non-believers would be correct that God is evil in some way and is sadistic and all of the things, because it's like you're creator of all things. You know, you're all knowing, but yet this is the state you chose humanity to be in. So I think
Can I just respond really quick, or would you,
Or let me add something to that.
okay.
I just have a question. Do Christians find it weird that, like, okay, when it comes to like Noah's Ark, God decides to flood the entire world because humans are, I think, like having children with angels, and like there's a bunch of like tainted creatures like dwelling around, and also just like humans are corrupted except for Noah's family. God decides to like wipe out the earth in a flood to deal with those evils, only for evil to like come back, right, in the rest of the Bible. But when it comes to like Adam and Eve, if God was going to wipe out evil via the flood, he could have just cut the evil at the root, right? Wiping out like Satan and all of the angels that rebelled with him, or just wiping out the serpent so it wouldn't tempt Adam and Eve.
Okay, that was a lot. I will say this because I actually just started studying what is so special about the darkness in biblical framework terms. And it says in Genesis, it actually says that sin, I'm going to paraphrase too because I don't memorize the word for it, but basically it says that sin is creeping right around the corner and is eager. Like sin is very eager to conquer you. You must basically like control yourself so that way you can conquer sin so it doesn't conquer you. And I feel like if we just look at the real world now in our physical realm, we see that a lot of people that's evil literally are rulers of this world, hence our hence different presidents around the world, etc., etc. So when we really think about it, sin is alive. Sin can be technically can be given characteristics almost as if it's not actually an action itself, it's actually an energy that we must conquer. And God is energy. We're all energies, we're all frequencies if we really think about it. Some people are in low vibrational states right now as we speak. Some people are in high vibrational states as we speak. So when I just think about it like that, I don't necessarily think that, especially when it comes down to Noah and the flood, that it was with ill intent to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to destroy my creation because y'all did this. And it's more so like we all have free will. And if you have a conscience, you know what's right and what's wrong. You know that lying is wrong because lying has multiple consequences. It can hurt a lot of people. You know, murder is wrong because who are you to take another life, another energy from someone's fleshly vessel? So I just think when it came down to the flood, it was kind of like, okay, I'm patient with my creation. They're humans. They make mistakes, but they keep letting sin conquer them. They keep living in the darkness. So this is what I'm going to do. And it actually says that God actually felt basically along the lines, he actually regretted it. It said basically he actually vowed that he would never do it again because he knew how deeply, I'm not going to speak for him, but basically it does say in the Bible that he basically regretted the flood. Like he should have never wiped out humanity entirely.
Hi, Omnist. Hi, panel. Imagination. The biblical definition of sin is just lawlessness. It has nothing to do with human emotions or a specific number. It just means not following the law. That's what sin is. It's not something that's alive. And even when you go to Isaiah 45:7, Yahweh himself says, I create the light, I create the lightness, I create good, I create evil, I, the Lord, create all these things. Like he claims himself that he does that. It's no one else. The devil is just an accuser. Shaitan in Hebrew is just a title, like God. That just means accuser. That is it. No more, no
1,000%.
less. Excuse me?
So if you use that,
I said 1,000%. I was in agreement. My apologies. I was in agreement with what
No,
you were
exactly.
saying.
Let's keep
you just
words meaning
reference
what it was.
you just referenced but you just mentioned you just referenced the Bible in the same token. I also mentioned the Bible as my own definition of what I see sin is because
No,
I
you
also
gave a
look up
definition of sin that is not biblical. The biblical rabbinistic definition of sin. No, we have to start with the
I get that.
definition of
I
it.
love definitions too. And all I'm saying based off what I read, that's all I was saying. Like I said, I'm also doing my
I
research on what
absolutely understand
makes
you,
the
but I just
darkness so
wanted to
special.
clear
But I'm
that
saying
up because
you
it's
can
confusing to some
yes,
people
but you also had
sometimes.
to also apply definitions. You can't just read a definition and say, oh hey yeah, I looked at the definition, that's the definition. You also have
I'm
to
the one that came up with the definition because you were like the sin and then everybody was talking about the 7 virtues and the 7 deadly sins. I'm like, no, sin is the biblical definition because if we're going to stay true to this religion, right? The biblical definition of sin is lawlessness, and lawlessness has everything to do with the 613 laws that Yahweh bestowed upon the people of Israel.
Okay, so can we agree that one word can have multiple definitions? Yes or no?
No, ma'am. Because again, when you go to the Hebrew, when you go to the original Hebrew, it's like it's like when people start talking about in Genesis and the serpent is not Satan. Satan doesn't arrive, and the first time that the shaitan is even mentioned in the Bible is in Job. That's the first time he's even mentioned. Before that, there is no shaitan mentioning. It is a title, ma'am. It is a Hebrew title. And when in Genesis, Yahweh states that on this day you shall be unalived, he says, mut, mut, mut. He keeps insisting that it's on this day. So it's not, again, let's keep to what the real context and definition is. Now, Joshua, what I wanted to convey is that if you did understand what the new covenant prophecy was and what it states. Joshua?
Oh, what is your question?
Okay, well, I just wanted to see if you understood what the new covenant prophecy meant.
I'm not sure if you're have a specific thing in mind.
Well, there is, again, if do you have your Bible? Because I don't like
I'm
giving
familiar.
opinions. I want to say to the scripture.
But when it comes to can I just pause you for a second? Because I don't even like to give like credentials, because I think it's quite like not pathetic, but I actually study communication. Like my degree is really in communication studies, and I would say words, as someone who's an actual poet too, I write poetry. You can't try to say that words.
Ma'am, I'm a
one word.
Let's take a deep breath.
The definition is
words,
very
but
important.
Let's count to
because
10.
But yes, but words are, you can use it.
Yeah.
That's
Words are
wonderful. I
express-
love poet. I love
Words are
poetry. That is wonderful.
Words are of expression. You can use
but here's the thing. When
okay, never mind. I'm done.
The Jewish culture
It's
is not
okay. The stakes are
poetic.
the stakes.
That's Hellenistic.
There's no stakes. We're just having a conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you relax a little
Ma'am,
bit.
it's not personal. It's just what I'm talking
taking
about.
it personal. Your energy is a little bit.
When you talk to rabbis, when you speak, I don't know if you have had the chance to talk to a rabbi, but they're very specific. They're very specific. Like these people don't play with their law. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. But what I'm saying,
can understand it. You know what I mean?
No, I get where you come. I get where you come from. I respect your point of view. What I'm saying is, I think how you came across it just was a little bit like off-putting, because I wasn't saying that my definition is the end all be all. All I was just saying.
I know. I just came up here with the biblical definition of it, and to make sure that was clear. That's all. No more, no less.
Bor, I think a lot of people are curious. Are you a believer?
No, sir, I'm not. The Amos knows me.
Okay.
Anywho, I just wanted to make sure, Joshua. Okay,
I'll say from my point of view, the fulfillment of all the biblical prophecies, the fulfillment, the culmination of all that happened at the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD.
No. Okay, well, let's see what the new prophecy is. You will find it in Jeremiah. Sure, I'm an atheist for a reason. I used to be Christian. I get it. I understand the need to feel that you are
it's okay.
that you were born a sinner. I absolutely understand that. I started off as a Catholic, mijo. Imagínate, that Puerto Rican Catholic. That, you know what I mean? Half Polish, half Puerto Rican. I was Catholic.
I don't care about that. Tell me what your point is.
The point is, let's read Jeremiah 31:31. All right. That is what the new prophecy covenant is. And it states, and again, it stays in the Old Testament. It has nothing to do with Jesus. The days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the people of Israel and the people of Judah. It will not be with the covenant I made with their ancestors when I took them by the hand to lead them out of Egypt, because they broke my covenant, though I was husband to them, declares the Lord. This is the covenant I will make with the people of Israel after that time, declares the Lord. I will put my law in their minds and write it in their hearts. I will be their God and they will be my people. No longer will they teach their neighbor or say to one another, know the Lord. For the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their wickedness and remember their sins no more. So what do we have here? We actually do have a new covenant that Yahweh is stating of forgiveness of sin, absolute forgiveness of sin. It has nothing, it has no human sacrifice, and much less of the Moshe, which he wants to rule in David's throne. Like that has its own like list of precursors that have to be taken into account, which Jesus does not apply any to that prophecy. However, in this prophecy, it states that the whole point of the new covenant is that this type of conversation that we're having right now would be considered moot, because no one would be telling one another, know the Lord. So that is what basically is going on here. But believers are trying to convince non-believers, know the Lord, because again, this conversation, if the new covenant had been applied, would be completely mute. So so according to this prophecy, the new covenant has not come to pass. It has nothing to do with human sacrifice, much less of the Moshe. And it states that the law is the principle love of God. I will forgive everyone. When that law, I friggin' tattoo it to your brain and to your heart in such a way that you won't be able to break it. And no one will have to tell you, yo, you're sinning and breaking this law and angering Yahweh. That's the whole point of the new covenant and the forgiveness of sin. It's been there all the time and since Jeremiah. It has nothing to do with Jesus, the devil, an Armageddon. It has nothing to do with any of that.
And
But
that's
to the point,
your
to the
personal.
one who actually, to the one who did the point of, I think it was true. I'm sorry, the controversial. Yeah, that was actually a good one. I like that thought of, yeah, if Yahweh was angry and he decided to wash away this type of sin that they were talking about, then that should have been done and no need for a Messiah. I like that one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I was thinking like God did the flood to get rid of like
Exactly.
sin.
The rainbow should have been the new covenant.
Yeah, like if he was gonna wipe everything out, he could have just like cut everything at the bud, right? Like he could have just wiped out all the
and
angels.
Let's make
that
everyone
rebelled.
nice from now on and lovey-dovey, and let's make Eden again because those people are gone. It should have been easy.
Yeah, whenever the rebellion happened and like Satan and angels rebelled, he could have just wiped them out or cut like the serpent from the garden.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. The serpent is not the devil. Like Shaitan again, his power keeps escalating the further into Christianity you go into. Like once you reach Paul, he is officially the Lord of this world. You're like, wow, he only started as basically his most loyal servant. And when people of this religion, people that are Jew, when they are unalive, they actually they believe in reincarnation, and they believe that they will sit down with Hashem and the Shaitan and have a conversation like if they were doing Met's feather. It's really interesting.
So what would you do then if you had children, right, in your house, right? You had two sons, right?
I have a child.
And okay, great. Okay, what if one of your kids, and you have two children, by the way, you have two sons, and one of them killed your son killed his brother? Would you what would you do though as a parent? Would you just
hand him to the authorities? I'm sorry.
Referring to.
So in the same breath, you are saying that God could have did this, God could have did that. But when it comes to our own lives, right? When we set boundaries and when we have certain morals, values, and principles applied to our own life, whether that's for friends, family, or what have you, whether we invite them to our home, in our car.
You're cutting out, but how? Either way, you're presenting healthy boundaries. That's absolutely fine.
But we're still going to.
What?
You're trying to say that God could have did this, but those were his boundaries at the time. Those were his laws. Those were his morals, values, and principles. So how are you trying to tell anybody how they should have went about it when, like you said, we're all individuals. We're all people that have free will. We do what we do accordingly when someone violates our boundaries. So I'm just trying to get the point.
Didn't I just read you the new covenant? What did the new covenant state? The covenant state that the law that Yahweh is going, Hashem is going to basically tattoo the law into your brain and your heart in such a way that you cannot break it. That's the whole gist. So the free will that you want to make up and make it as, oh, I always have a choice. No, the new covenant, you want me to read it again? It literally says, I'm going to put the law in your head and in your heart in such a way that no one will say to one another, know the Lord, because from the least, they're talking from a little baby, from the newborn baby to the oldest man will know that that law cannot be broken, that you can't break it. You have no choice to. And that's when Hashem will forgive you. That's the forgiveness of sin. That's why Jeremiah 31, I recommend you tonight, give it a read and give Jeremiah a read. Jeremiah, that's a pretty interesting book. I guarantee you're not going to be bored on that. Genesis, I absolutely understand. Genesis and Exodus is boring as hell. But I'm telling you, Jeremiah is interesting.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Dude, I hope you are. All I'm saying, again, read it. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm literally just reading from the scripture.
You are insecure in what you're presenting. It's okay.
That's really cute, Joshua. That's really cute.
You don't need to convince me. If it's your belief,
do you need to do that to make yourself feel better?
Wait,
Is that what you need to do?
If it's your belief, then you don't need to
No,
convince
dude,
me.
that's disrespectful because you're already like trying to talk down on me, and I don't appreciate that. That's fucked up.
You got me wrong. You got me
No,
wrong.
you have a serious issue because you want to gaslight me, telling me that I do need to know, dude.
Just
I'm
take
47.
a deep breath.
I
Just
am
take a deep breath.
47. Dude, I'm Puerto Rican. It doesn't matter about breath. I do not do yoga. I do not care for none of this shit. I just came here to read to you because you were talking about, usually I don't come up to panels. Omnis knows this. I usually come up once in a blue moon. When I'm hearing a lot of weird stuff, let me know. This is deviating from the original context. That's it. So that's all I came up here because I was already seeing that there was a wrong definition biblically regarding even the most basic covenant, which is sin. That's crazy to me.
You're right. I think a lot of the stuff you said, I agree with, actually.
Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, it's a question of we have to sit down and read this Bible, understand its historical context. What's the difference between the Hebrews of the first and second temple? Because again, the ones of the first temple are the whole point of Jesus is to come for the lost sheep of Israel. Nothing more, nothing less. Because again, we have already a biblical prophecy that will give forgiveness of sin, which is a new covenant, but it has nothing to do with the Messiah at all whatsoever. So his mission was supposed to unite the first and second temple Jews. Do you know what the difference is, by the way?
No, what is the difference?
All right. Wonderful. So when he talks with the Samaritan woman by the well, and she states that, he starts, berating her, bring your husband. And she's like, I have no husband. He's like, I just want to check and see if you're lying, blah, blah, blah. But she states in a very important passage that she has been here, been there since the times of Jacob. So her family is a first temple Hebrew family because they did not go into the Babylonian exile. So when they go into exile, basically the whole tribes, everything gets divided. In that exile is when not in the exile, right before the exile, during the last years of King Josiah, the 18 Hebrew king, is when they start writing pen to paper Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy was the first book that was start to be written. And Moses is mainly, he's based also on another character, but since Josiah was called the lawgiver, he was one of the main actual historical people that was based on Moses' characters. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody,
does.
but
It's a scholarly view. It's a scholarly
exactly.
view. They were in Babylonian captivity when they invented the law and things like this.
Exactly, but before the captivity, already Josiah was like saying, "No, we got to start writing this down." You know, we have everything in verbiage and perfectly, but we don't have it like everything like codified.
I think the Samaritans were worshiping on that mountain because their ancestors worshipped on that mountain, and
the Samaritans are again. That's why he has no problem preaching to her, and yet he does have a problem with the Canaanite woman. You know, he basically calls her a dog. He has no intention. He has no intention to. Let's be honest. He has no intention to prophesize or to help her in any way, shape, or form. She is not of the tribe that he came to rescue. And let's be honest, the only two, and she wasn't really Canaanite. It's just that since Greek was the language of the verbatim of the Rhenus verbatim, which was being utilized, they didn't want to like diss a Greek person, but she was Greek. You know, she was a Greek. But nobody was using the word, Canaanite anymore, especially in Aramaic. However, he does, the only two Gentiles he has any contact and helps is the Roman centurion. And as a person who does live in a colony myself, you don't go against your colonizers. That's something terrible will usually happen to your people. So
But what he says to her is kind of what you were talking about with Jeremiah 31, I believe, that a time is coming and has now come when the true worshipers
well,
will
that goes
worship.
against Deuteronomy 32:8, because again, if we read Deuteronomy 32:8, it's very specific for who this God is, right? This God is for no one else but Israel. That's why Jesus is very specific. I did not come to abolish this laws. He's
And
Jewish, you know.
that is also shown through the story of Hosea, which Hosea, the representation of him saving his wife, who is like, she's not a good woman, but he keeps going back to save her, and he keeps going back to save her. He is a representation of God consistently going back to specifically save Israelites, not
No,
anybody else.
yes, that is true. That is actually a pretty good interpretation of it. But Malachi always says, "I am God; I do not change." So it goes a lot against what he says his own nature is. But again, when we go to Deuteronomy 32:8, the scripture is very specific with whom Hashem belongs to. And when we go to Deuteronomy 32:8, it states, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries for the people according to the number of sons of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob, his allotted share. So right now, again, how many gods did I just mention? That's the first question.
My thing is, I'm like, are you specifying this religion to bloodline?
Yes, it is. And if you actually ask
I'm
any
in
Jew
agreement
today,
with this
it's a
because
tribalistic. And again, if you ask any Jewish person, most Jewish people that don't live in Israel or Palestine or whatnot, I don't want to go into that. They carry a bit of sand from Israel for being able for prayer, because the whole thing, okay, when the Most High in Deuteronomy 32:8 is talking about Elyon, God, Yahweh has just one name, and originally, if you go to the Trigonometron, which is another thing that you can actually verify, it's an originating God from the Shazu people that eventually enters the Canaanite pantheon of gods as a war god. And of course, rightfully so, the Hebrews see him as, let's worship the war god to help us, you know?
Fox, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I basically said kind of like the same thing where my problem with these religions, right, is that I feel like we're not necessarily understanding what spirituality actually means. Like when I'm thinking about spirituality in the
and when
definition of
you
the
say
word,
that, I'm in full agreement with you.
yeah,
Like,
it's religion. The problem with religion is that it's fixed. And
Oh
it's really
yeah.
dependent on the group that it comes from. And if we actually want to find true meaning in our lives, if we want to actually find how we can live fulfilling lives and, as a community and evolve, I think that is a deeply personal journey,
Absolutely.
a deeply malleable experience based on what we, as we live life, what we experience, what we learn, and how we evolve based on what we learn. But the problem with religion is that regardless of how you feel about it, you still got to follow whatever it is that it says. And I don't
Why
see
do
how
I
we
have
can.
to follow it? I do not have to follow it, sir. In fact, I even originally, for a time, I've even started following my own ancestral gods, because again, my people were colonized
and
and
Yes.
so
their
this
gods were
is what I
taken
want to
away.
get
So I
into right
started
here.
I started studying my own ancestral gods. But at the end of the day, let's be fair. They failed as well. So at this point, I'm just an atheist.
But still, I'll even get
I'm the
into
same way.
there are certain, when y'all get these, okay, because a lot of people just come from a Christianity point of view when we
Correct.
talking about this. So what I'm saying is that if a person that studied more than one religion, sort of how the omnis goes about it, there are certain Africans where you could get them to swear on the Bible, right? They'll swear straight on it.
Yeah.
They will not swear on a piece of metal
Yeah.
because of their bloodline connecting them to the god of metal. And if they mess up and they swear on that, best believe they gonna get into a car crash, something gonna happen because they swear to this deity or this whatever this
Everyone
thing
has
is.
again,
But
we
where
have
do you
we have
think we
what the important,
disagree?
and
Where,
that
where,
is
where,
actually really interesting, Fox. I don't know if you've actually gone into the Bhagavad Gita and studied that. That is a
I
huge
have
mess. I
studied
think
the
you're gonna
Bhagavad
like it.
Gita.
I think you're
Where
really gonna like it.
I
you
studied the Bhagavad Gita, and those that it
Wow.
is exactly what I'm talking about. The
I know,
story,
right?
the story of Arjuna and him needing to be in battle, and
Yep.
God telling him that this was his destiny. Things like this, these are tropes that have been used for so long.
Yeah. Yeah,
And what I'm
Noah's
telling
flood is
people is
basically
that
the Epic of Gilgamesh.
same thing. I'm studying right now the Hopi people. We
Oh,
talking about
that's
a
really
flood.
interesting.
You talking about a flood? They said this
Hmm.
earth has been turned 5 times. One through water, where he flooded, one through fire, where he burned everything, and one through like earthquakes and stuff, where he destroyed it with the earth itself. There's so many ways
But
that
not,
this stuff
but
has been
they,
described. I'm
Evan,
not saying it's
they
all
all call
true.
it
do
a
you,
he or she. Like, for example,
do you
in
feel do
my,
you feel do you feel kinship with the people who wrote like the Epic of Gilgamesh, for example? Like I feel kinship with them, and also, do you feel like there's anyone hostile to you on the panel?
no.
Okay. You
I
feel
mean,
kinship with these other texts, like yeah.
Yes, I feel, again, I even feel kinship with the Bible itself. I grew up with it. You know, I will always have a like there are even stories that are missing. I recommend anybody who hasn't read the book of Asenath. That's a really cool one. Like I'm very intrigued by mythology since I was a child. And then when I was in Catholic school, you know, they're very, you do have to go to religion class every day, and every Wednesday is mass. And yeah, you have to
Is
be
it the
very,
manipulation piece, like it being used as a weapon against you,
well,
or
again, many of their own teachers are manipulated. You know what I mean? They all really, again, a lot of you go to any place that has a large religious population, especially of an Abrahamic religion, and they are very devout and truthful. I was truthful when I was in it. You know, I was, dude. I was the type of person that if you know that when you sometimes when you say, "Oh, well, I'm human, I'm not perfect," I'm like, you're blaspheming, right? You're calling the creation of the Lord imperfect. I was one of those. So we grow. I'm at the point of my life that I'm 47. I love studying them all, but yeah, as a critique, again, I hear just from something, and again, Omnis knows himself. I just come up once in a while, and I'll be gone pretty soon. I don't accept to be a moderator. I don't take any of these responsibilities. I come and go like a free spirit. That's it.
Yeah, I think it really does come down to like I even try to meet people halfway because I'm also atheist. Well, I'm an anti-theist actually, but even
Oh,
meeting
you're at the
people,
extreme. Wow. I don't care.
yeah,
I don't care as long as they don't legislate against me. That's my only jig, you know?
like my thing, like I'm that way because of not only just for historical reasons, but just for other reasons. Like my personal thing is I don't think that if they really actually like get to the center of the issues that we're going through, because everyone's worshiping different deities, but they
Yeah.
don't actually get to the center of the problems of their lives and why they act the way that they do, why they do bad things, and it doesn't matter. What
No,
regardless of
look
the
at,
deity, they
you know,
still do bad things.
a funny one is once everybody's like, they're like, no, I'm under a new covenant. I don't have to follow these laws, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, okay, well, fine. Do you follow the 10 commandments? Why do you care so much that the 10 commandments are in front of the jury house? And they're like, well, they're the 10 commandments. I'm like, you are aware that these are basically the first 10 laws, which you say that you don't have to follow anymore, right? Like, that's it. And that, boom, like, because they don't understand. Literally, the 10 commandments are the first 10 of the 613 laws.
But
That's it.
I definitely agree with your perspective as far as like I'll even meet people halfway. Okay, let's believe in God, right? Why does it have to be the Israelite, Roman, Greek, European interpretation of who God is? We're talking about living righteously, and out of everything that they've done in history, are we sure that they're the best interpretation of how we should do that? How we should live
Absolutely
righteously?
not. Again, I'm an atheist. I'm completely against, again, my country is still a colony. Like, literally, we're the oldest colony, man. Do you think I don't feel it?
So it's just like if credibility means anything, why are we listening to the populations that literally destroyed the earth itself.
Well, there you go. Again, that's something that has to be asked. First of all, why are these churches being exempt of taxation? Why are we allowing if they're going to be lobbying for our rights? Like, you know what I mean? So you don't like Sharia law, but you're absolutely okay with absolutist Christian law, which you're making up, which is not even Levitical. What are we talking about here? People don't even understand. People don't even understand that the word homosexuality does not appear in the Bible until 1946, after World War II. This word does not appear in the Bible.
Listen,
and James has, and everyone that's reading the King James, I'm telling you right now, it's very pretty words, but James was gay.
I've definitely like lived in like my whole, like, once actually learning the world history behind these religions, it absolutely changed, perception upside down, because we're taught that it's about love and it's about, these different things. But if you actually look at the history on how these religions were spread, they were the most violent.
You want to see the funny part? The Bible itself contradicts itself. So you go to 1 Corinthians and tells you love is this, love is this, love is kind, love is not jealous. And then you go to Exodus 25, I am the Lord, I am jealous. So God is not love, dude. If we're going by the book, the definition contradicts itself, literally.
But I also just like, even just the bigger questions, right? If we as a people are, because I hear like a lot of people, talk about like YT supremacy and things like that. A lot of people will claim that they're against the system, they're against, the things that it does. But at the same time, if we look at the fact that religion was also a part of that, people magically end up making excuses for it, ignoring it, not acknowledging how that plays a role. They can drop bombs, they can do things to us, they could, destroy the world, but religion is the blanket. Religion is the justification. A lot of people ask, how could a person do this? How could a person, do these wars and do all these terrible things to people? Well, if you phrase it like God ordained it to be this way, then we're dealing with the different.
And don't forget that most of this populace were not even allowed to read. Again, most of these books at the beginning were in Latin. They were not allowed to read them until officially the Protestant Reformation came over and started translating these books. And that's when more, extras going in and out of these books. So, that's why we have 45,000 denominations of Christianity and over 3,000 versions of the Bible, whichever you want, which you pick the cherry you want to pick.
Yeah.
Very easy.
But
if we make it this way, it makes religion very easy. If you want to follow Paul's way, when Paul says, well, you don't have to, again, Paul and Peter disagree completely. Peter was an actual disciple of Jesus canonically. Paul just saw a light in the way to Damascus and heard a voice. The voice didn't even say.
He was epileptic.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Talking about how this man was just having seizures, but when you have scholars talk about how this man had seizures and was epileptic, they don't want to. I don't know. They want to discredit that.
I'm curious about what other people got to say. I know Marcus came up. Marcus, are you there? Anyone else have something to say?
Wait, who you calling on?
Marcus.
Oh, Marcus.
Trying to get everyone.
Oh, Marcus, you there?
Yeah, Marcus.
I just saw him not too long ago. He unmuted. He might be busy right now. I don't know what he's doing.
I'm just trying to make sure.
He just comment that answer simple and lack of ability of understanding. A what? I don't know.
I'm just making sure everyone's involved.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna get going on this. I'll let you go. Again, I come and go. I'm like a feather that way.
Well, we appreciate you, Miss Bori.
All right, Sonny. Bye, everyone. Nice to talk with all of you.
All right.
All right. It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
She said it like was like this shit was not for us. She not wrong.
You wanted to
Clubhouse in the comments and not talking. That's funny. Did you want to do a reset? Because we got kind of off topic.
Again.
Yeah, we could do a little reset. What's good, Miss Izzy? She's back.
Happy to drop it. Happy to drop if need be.
No, you good, y'all.
Same, I can drop too. I'm actually at work now, but I'll still watch. But I don't know how to, honestly. I don't know how this stuff works. So can someone actually drop me, please?
Oh, you just got up here? Or will you just join TikTok?
No, I'm really, honestly, even though I'm like, I don't know what would be up with me. I really don't know this stuff.
Oh, okay. You just winging it.
Yeah, I just be winging it for real, for real.
Okay.
But no, I appreciate you. It was a lovely discussion. Like I said, I'll still listen, and I'm just at work right now, so I can't really talk anyway.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you, Miss Imagination. I'm gonna definitely follow you. Or I think I already did follow you.
Okay, I'm about to follow you too as well.
All right. Well, we appreciate you up here. I'm gonna let you down.
I'm gonna say thank you. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, we could do like a quick reset. We do have a controversial. I don't know if he answered the prompt yet, but you can go ahead and answer the prompt. Controversial.
Yeah, I've been listening. I've been contributing like here and there. When it comes to the Christian religion has theological flaw, I would say the Christian religion has like many flaws. For one, like I think like we live in a world of religions made by people, and I find it kind of weird that like Jesus, who is God, who is all-knowing, his final thing before he leaves is to give the keys to heaven to Peter, and Peter and the early church are basically going to determine the direction of the church for the upcoming years, and that just ends up chaotic, right? Multiple denominations, multiple different translations, the Catholic Church becomes corrupted, and we have the German Reformation breakout in Europe, and then people kind of see that like, hey, we can rebel against like the main authority, which was the Catholic Church, so they start making their own denominations. But then, I mean, I guess my focus right now, I've been taking notes on the resurrection and Jesus's life, and I just think like there's flaws in the Gospels. Like, I don't even grant that the Gospels were written by their namesakes, right? Because for one, your earliest Gospel is going to be dated 60 or 70 AD, which is Mark. And then like the names don't even get attributed to the Gospels until 180 AD, right? By Irenaeus. This is according to like what I read in Bart Ehrman's blog. I'm doing some research on Papias, but I can't really like find anything there. And then also like there's just so many errors with the Gospels, but I'll just end it there. Like I don't think Jesus was divine. I don't think he did miracles. I don't think he rose from the dead, and I don't think the namesakes wrote the Gospels. There's just issues all over the place.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that's
and then we're gonna pass it down to Marcus real quick. We'll have him. I don't think you answered the prompt yet, Mark.
Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, there are theological flaws within Christianity. If we look at the definition of theological flaw, it's based off of anything that deviates from the core orthodox scriptural truth religious systems. There are some. One of them is the prosperity gospel. That is a distortion of suffering, and I've known people, and I've had to help who believe that sickness is a demon. That's a theological flaw, because the Bible doesn't teach that if you don't have great faith, you have a demon. You're possessed. That's what that sickness is. No, it's just you're just not feeling well, and you just need to take some medicine, or other something else is when it comes to prosperity is like material wealth. You don't have enough faith to believe that you should be. If you're not a millionaire, whatever, that means you don't have faith, right? Those are theological flaws, or what some people would say that I know that are on this live that they believe in modalism, which is a misunderstanding of the Trinity. They believe that in three different modes, like or forms of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Which the flaw, they deny the essential threeness or of Godhead, altering the core, basically altering the definition of God. So that would be considered a theological flaw. I wouldn't look at like the authorship, even though most it's been historically accepted who the authors of the Gospels are. That's not a theological flaw. Also, legalism, like work-based salvation, that was a huge theological flaw that even the apostles were dealing with. Paul says, "Who has he told the Galatians, who has bewitched you, who has taken you away from the gospel." So yeah, that's my response. There are theological flaws within Christianity.
Oh yeah, really quick note.
Oh, go ahead.
I think I did probably
Yeah, go
stray
ahead,
off
Contra.
of. Oh yeah, like I think he's right. I think I might have strayed off of like theological flaws, and named like other flaws. But I guess like theological is referring to like I guess the teachings in the Bible or like internal critiques of the Bible, basically.
Yeah, I mean it's at its core. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Okay. And then we're gonna have Lewis answer the prompt, and then we can get back to the open panel.
Yeah, I mean, I think there can be excesses, right? As with anything else, I don't think it's a trait of just the theology in the Bible, but that's besides the point. But yeah, absolutely, there can be people who have weird interpretations or things that are probably more so outlier, right? So, yeah, I mean, the prosperity gospel, like Marcus was discussing, is probably like, especially the excess that happens with some of that, is absolutely detrimental. But in terms of the core theology, I think it's pretty solid. I really don't see any issues. But the excesses, I could say, yeah, I would agree on some of those.
Oh, actually, I have something. So, I've been talking to Sir, and let me find it in my notes. I have something. Actually, someone else say something. I'll let you know when I'm ready.
I'm a big fan of Sir.
Coco.
Sir, he got a beard.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I know him. He's pretty familiar with the text too.
yeah, and yeah, like I bounce off of him, and then I read articles. But there's something that he says about. Well, hold on. Okay, but anyone else can go. I'm looking at something.
Yeah, I was just going to address the Borinqueña, the Latina. One of the things that she said, I think, is very flawed. I think when an atheist says we can't interpret or follow the Bible in a very specific way, you're entitled to your opinion, but that doesn't make it true. So specifically, when she was mentioning the laws of the Old Testament, when people say, well, you've got to follow all of them because that's what the book says. No, that's what you think and your opinion is. It's not necessarily true to the Christian today. And I just want to clarify, when we say we don't follow the Old Testament laws, we're talking about what would be the separation between the three types of laws. There's case law, civil law, right? Same category, moral law, and then you have ceremonial law. The Christian would not practice the ceremonial law because we believe Jesus was the last sacrifice. We would also not follow would be considered case law. It's the equivalent of what we have today, where it says, if you speed past 50, you get a ticket, right? It's very specific to the country, was Israel, at the time, right? Now, when we talk about moral law, that is a more general, all-encompassing law. So when the Christian says they don't follow the Old Testament, we're specifically referring to the moral law, which is encompassed by the Ten Commandments in general, and then furthermore in other passages. But let's just clarify here. You're not allowed to tell us, or you can, like I said, but you're not allowed to dictate and say, well, your interpretation is wrong because I said so. That's not a fair argument. It's not a good argument. And I think it's very poor judgment, because if that was the case, the Christian today would have slaves. The Christian today, would practice some of the case law, which by today's standards is not acceptable. But you don't see that. And that is how you know that the Christian believes what they believe in terms of following the moral law. I'll leave it there, but it was just a little bit, you know what I mean? So
I know you coming at her, but she was bringing up stuff that was what we're talking about, theological flaws, where she's saying one moment y'all are saying that God is saying that he's all good and he's no negative emotions, but then he's saying he's jealous. So she did have some points, but I know she did sound a little off.
Well,
But
yeah, I took it. I took it
the
as her basically saying like a lot of, because you're absolutely right. People can have their own, opinions or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, like there are a lot of Christians who basically read certain scriptures and then try to like basically tell you that you didn't read what you just read.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think one of her main points was that it's not defensible to look at it from the current Christian point of view. Like exactly what you're presenting, they wouldn't have seen it that way, so it would be irrelevant.
yeah, I can acknowledge that.
When we leave things up for interpretations like that, that can be dangerous, because we're not talking about just like any old humans. We're talking about people who take this religion extremely seriously. So this same God, so if they interpret it as this God saying that they should unalive a bunch of people and things like that, there are people who would actually do that shit.
There are people who are trying to conquer the
Let
land
me
right now. I mean, they're trying to conquer the land. I mean, they're trying to fulfill that ancient. They're fulfilling what their God demands
But see,
because they're
that's the
reading of it.
issue.
Yeah.
That's the issue in it, right? Is that those vices are condemned as sin until somebody declares that they're righteous because that they were divinely told that they were righteous. We have no way of telling whether anybody is truthfully, divinely told something, or if they're lying, or if they're hearing things, or if we have no way of discerning for another person whether or not divine intervention was incorporated in their decision making. And when you have a book that tells you blatantly not to do these things, and then you have a few people who say, well, if I do it, it's righteous because of this, that, and the third, it starts to make you question things. That's a theological flaw in itself.
Absolutely. Like, it's not a bad thing, and society's definitely evolved, but it raises the question, like, are these rules coming from an unchanging divine source, or were they shaped by human interpretation, right?
Could it be both? Could it be that
Well,
they're coming from a divine source and written to a context, and these people are trying to make sense of it? They're groping in the dark, so to speak, trying to figure
well,
out these things.
I'll give you
But
guys
we've evolved though.
I'll give you
Well,
guys an example of something to the like of what you're like the example you gave. So when Jesus talked to his disciples about marriage, right? And he said that in Moses' time, it was acceptable to give your wife papers of divorce and then, go your separate ways. He said, but it was not so in the beginning. He said, because in the beginning, it was such that you leave your mother and your father and you become one flesh with your wife. He said, but you would not have it because you were too hard headed. So what I'm saying is that specifically in this example of like polygamy, Jesus himself is clarifying and saying, this was a behavior you guys, because you were so hard headed, made acceptable, but it was not so in the beginning. So Jesus is correcting that. And he's saying that isn't the
It's a
case.
little bit different than that
Okay.
because
So wait, well,
Moses he says that
let me
Moses gave
let me
that
fin
command.
yeah, let me
Because
finish.
of the hardness of your hearts. So
Right.
Moses
It's
also wrote the Genesis story
le-
just to keep things together a little
yeah,
bit.
no, I let me land my plane. You can go on and say what you want. My point though is that what I said before is when you're talking about the separation of the law between the three parts, and we're talking about case law, we're not talking about an all-encompassing moral law that applies to all people at all times. And that's why I keep saying that it's a flaw within the understanding of what you guys are discussing to convolute the ceremonial, the moral, and the civil case law, because it's not one and the same. Now, they are all laws, but the Christian does not abide by the things that he doesn't have to. which Jesus, like I said, once again clarified.
But that
But
doesn't make
I'll
any
leave it at
Where
that.
sense.
where is
If
this
the moral
distinction made in the
law,
text?
if the
It
moral
is.
law is
Where?
binding because it comes from God, how do we decide when laws are moral and when laws are cultural? Like the text doesn't separate them.
But
Yeah, I
outside, wait a
gave
minute,
you a clear
wait a minute.
delineation,
Outside of
right?
this
So
text, morality is universal without your text. We don't
no, it's
need the
not.
Bible.
No, it's
We
not.
don't. You wait, brother. We don't need the Bible to be moral people. You don't need the Bible to be a moral person. What I talked about at the beginning of this, before you
That's
got
not true.
on, is the 7 heavenly virtues. Now, let me explain to you something that you do not need the Bible to have humility, charity, chastity, kindness, temperance, patience, or diligence. Now, you can keep saying that, but you don't need the Bible for that.
Oh, you're talking about virtues. Yeah, absolutely. That's just that's just a component of who we are as human beings. If you're talking about virtues, absolutely. I can't disagree with that. I'm talking about
Lewis,
specific moral.
I would like you to address the idea that Moses made the creation account, but Moses also
Well,
created this clause, this divorce clause, that if you find something in your wife that she's undesirable, or that's something that's distasteful, that you're able to put her away and give her a certificate of divorce. This is in the law of Moses. Same
right,
law of Moses that gives the creation account is the same law of Moses that gives
right.
this clause for
I
divorce
said that.
that Jesus is opposed to. So how are you justifying one but not justifying the other?
You're not understanding the distinction. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. That case law is not the same as moral law. Okay, something like a divorce would fall under that jurisdiction of specific case law, right? So if Jesus is clarifying it wasn't so from the beginning, and he's telling you in Genesis this was the format, you guys, out of your own ignorance and hardness of heart, decided to go about it a different way. You're incorrect. And that's why he clarified and corrected it. I don't see the issue.
Well, the issue would be that Moses is incorrect. That's the whole issue.
And if
That's
He,
he
fine.
is,
He's a human being. He's flawed to a certain degree
but he is
but
because
he's
of
the
the
considered
one.
culture
authoritative
that
enough
He's
he
the
to give
one.
came
us the
up through.
story.
But he created he's
Exactly.
also the writer of the
Yeah,
creation account.
but that then doesn't disqualify him from writing a creation account. That just happens to be a very specific case. You guys are missing the point. A very specific case in which he has an opinion or gave a jurisdiction over it. He's not. That has nothing to
You're
do with it.
compartmentalizing the text in a really interesting way.
Okay, Joshua. I got an example for you. Have you ever lied?
No. Give me an
No.
example of where he
So
says
have you
this
ever
is
lied?
hold on. This is the
No,
judicial
because
law.
this is what you're doing. Have you ever lied?
Hear
Yeah,
me
you
out here,
have,
Lewis.
right? You have. So should we trust your word right now, since we know you've lied before?
Necessarily.
Exactly. Right. So if we live by
He's
if
a
we're gonna
regular
go
human
by
being,
this,
though.
right? Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. Moses was a regular dude too. He just happened to be the guy who wrote Genesis. He's a
We
regular
believe
dude.
him.
He's a flawed man.
Why should we believe you? You're making
That's the
if we're
point that they're
using the
trying to make.
same
That
Yeah,
standard,
you're
Lewis,
fully.
that's the point that they're trying to make is that
Rowan, you better stop.
If Joshua has lied and he is a flawed human being and he told me he wrote Genesis, I have no obligation to believe him because I know that in the past he has lied and been flawed.
So we should live in eternal skepticism. Nothing anybody says up here is credible.
When it comes to something as serious as this, I think so.
Not if evidence is presented.
Well, this is something that like just to give like a little insight. This is something that, and I forgot who gave me this. Oh no, it was a video that I had found of a Buddhist monk. He was explaining to a mass of people, but he was talking about how like even in the teachings of Buddha, that Buddha even tells his followers to test like his own teachings and like not to really be like so hell bound on a principle or a practice or a teaching, that like even put what he says or what he gives to them to work or into observation. So it's like for them what they're talking about is like how can we really make sense of what we're reading in this book to be the infallible inherent word of the divine.
Picking and choosing.
Yeah, but Ron, wouldn't it just be the case that you could just test out if loving your neighbor works?
I mean, I kind of disagree.
Well, it would be interesting if the Bible was only exclusive to that teaching, right? But we have other sources and other cultures who have been practicing that for thousands of years before there was even a Bible.
I mean, I use that example, but I mean, we could use other examples, right? But I'm just saying, isn't it the case that you could just test if what Jesus said is true or not? That's all I'm saying.
There are a lot of good things in the Bible, I will agree, but like the things like Fox said, is that the name? Fox said you don't need religion to be moral, right? You don't have to believe in God to love your neighbor.
Well, he clarified it was virtues, and I agreed. I don't know if you remember that. But yeah, it's when if you're talking about virtues, that's just a natural part of of human nature. You have the capacity to be evil, to be good. Like it's you can go both ways. So
The
I don't
reason
disagree with that.
the reason why I brought up virtues, and I usually bring up virtues to Christians, is because each one of the virtues that I mentioned
Uh
will
huh.
challenge one of the seven deadly sins. So humility challenges pride, charity challenges greed,
Right.
chastity challenges lust, kindness challenges envy, temperance challenges gluttony, patience challenges wrath, and diligence challenges challenges sloth or laziness.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't care what religion you are, I don't care what denomination, I don't care if you're atheist, that will work for you. And those are just principles. And what I'm telling y'all is what Bruh said about spirituality, Mike, it's universal. These teachings are
Evolving all the time.
universal. So you guys need to be understanding that God, well, I believe in God, but not all of y'all. But He put these things here for us to learn this and work together. We're supposed to be harmonious and together, not
Yeah.
warring and all
Yeah.
that other crap.
Yeah. No,
So,
I don't
and
disagree with what you said. I think it makes sense. I think, like I said, we all have the capacity for good and evil, both virtues and the opposite of what those virtues are. I don't have an issue with that. I'm not saying that having virtues is exclusive to the Christian. If people say that, I don't think that's honest or true.
I ain't
Right.
saying you saying that, bro, but sometimes when I get on here, that's what I feel like certain Christians
Oh,
come off
gotcha.
as.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah,
that's what
okay,
I
I
said
understand.
at the beginning of this, that what they are representing by that is not humility, but
Right.
pride.
Right.
So since y'all have pride in your religion, it destroys the faith.
Mm,
You're not, some of y'all aren't practicing right because
mm.
you're not humble.
It
You're not
destroys our ability to
humility.
grow if we think we know everything, right? Is that kind of the idea?
Exactly.
Yes, it completely
Mm.
blocks human evolution in general. Like that's why I asked. That's why I asked earlier. I said, okay, we can reference, these deities or Jesus or whatever, but when do we ever get to the point where we actually like move past it? Like when can we actually become, the people who can like teach about the human experience for future generations? I just wanted to say something because somebody commented, where did we get these morals from? And I thought that was interesting. I think morals come from shared human experience, right? And empathy. We get these morals from the responses that we get for our actions. I just thought that was worth saying.
I mean, if you read Ecclesiastes chapter 6 or 7, it clearly says that God made man good, but he found ways to do evil. So that's why I don't always buy into the idea that you can't do good without God. It's just not true in reality, so I don't usually buy into that. But what I am saying is that the the moral laws that Jesus stipulated are good, right? And they're a good way to live. And to me, there's nothing wrong with loving your neighbor. If you love God, loving God. If it means taking care of the stranger, feeding the poor, like I don't see any issues with any of that.
So why do I
So
have to believe in God then?
you don't have to. You can decide not to. That's your choice.
What is the purpose of believing in God?
I find fulfillment, direction. I find, comfort. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons why someone should and could believe in God. It might not be right for you right now, but it is for me. And who are you to tell me otherwise? You see what I'm saying?
Just the consequences part. Like it feels very fear-based. Like he's like, "Oh, you need to do these things," which I agree are good things and like add to quality of life. But like it's the fact that if you don't do them, then you are punished so severely, and he made that happen.
And see, to add on to that, my biggest issue is not so much like if you don't do good things that there is punishment. My issue is more so that you can do good things, but if you miss this one mark of of not subscribing to Yahweh,
Not believe it.
subscribing to Christ, you can still be punished when you did everything else right. That kind of throws me off a bit because it seems like it's really less about your virtues, it's really less about your character and more about who you chose to worship during your life.
Yeah, because they'll still, I've still heard, Christians can try to make it seem like, it's about, living right. But even the Christians themselves will say, no, even if you live right, if you still do not worship Jesus Christ, these things can still happen to you.
Yeah, that's absolutely true within the Christian doctrine, and it's
That's
mostly
a
because of,
problem.
well, let's dissect it. It's mostly because of the issue of eternal justice, or the idea of eternal justice, right? Both coupled with grace and mercy. So it's a very dynamic relationship between those three. So while it does seem unfair that somehow you could truly, genuinely repent and be forgiven, it is the case that if that was you that was receiving the forgiveness, you would welcome it. Now, we typically have a harder lens to judge other people by. So I'll give you a good example, like someone who, I don't know, unalive somebody. We may look at them with a harsher judgment than someone who just lied, right? So there's degrees of like what would you call it, offenses, right? And so the idea of eternal justice just takes into account that all of the wrong that is done somehow has to be mitigated, right? Whether that is through Christ or whether that is of your own volition, right? So I understand why you guys find it troubling, because it seems that God pigeonholes you to believe, and if you don't, well, there's like this eternal consequence. But on the flip side of that, I just invite you to see the opposite of that, which is that if there is a PDF file or a schmurderer who somehow gets away with it in this life, that at the judgment seat of Christ, that he will receive his due punishment, right? So it's a very dynamic relationship, and I can understand y'all's viewpoint on it. I just happen to think that it makes sense. It comports, because there has to be justice, but at the same time, there has to be an open door for mercy and grace for
But
people. I
you're
would
still,
say
both
that
of you
the
are
only
still doing bad
offense
things to
you
me.
probably right. I would say that your disbelief is probably not the only offense that you've committed, and that's probably where we're missing it. And that's for all of us, not just you, everybody. So, um, I mean, when you isolate it and you say it's just because of disbelief, it sounds like it's unfair. But when you take into account all the wrong things that you've done, and where you've hurt or offended people, knowingly or unknowingly, it does make more sense, right? We're not innocent. Nobody on this panel has walked
You heard that, Mike?
innocently. Okay,
You heard that, Mike? And
so
you stole that cookie jar when you was 12? You
Right.
evil, sick human being.
I should burn for
It,
all
it's
eternity.
Eternal torment.
it's cartoonish and it's shame centered. I think a lot of
I
times.
deserve all of that just because I don't believe in Jesus.
If you believe
Why
Christ
do I have to go to the same place as the PDF file? Why do I have to go to the
I
same place
I'm
as
going
him?
to
I
the
didn't do
same
that.
place as him.
my thing
Done
is
with
not
people
y'all.
necessarily this. Yeah, not necessarily the exact same place, but yeah, to similar punishment, I would call it. Not the
But
same
my
place or same punishment.
How?
my thing is, if you believe in Jesus, if you believe in Jesus Christ, whether or not he was the Son of God, he was a human being, right? And so if he had the if he taught that you can be like him, you can walk in his path, and if he himself is believed to be perfect, why can't there be a possibility for another human being that is perfect? And why can't there be a hypothetical where that perfect human being does not believe in Yahweh? That perfect human being does not, in my opinion, I know I'm just a human, but that human being does not deserve eternal punishment for being a perfect human, yet not subscribing to Yahweh. That's what we're more so talking about. Like, of course,
Well,
I don't think
right,
anybody on the panel specifically trying to say that they're perfect.
right.
It's just the theology of it that is a little bit flawed.
Well, if you're looking at it, if you're trying to like reverse engineer the whole thing, what you said actually comports to Christianity still, because if there was a person who completely obeyed God, that would then entail that they had faith in God from the beginning, because they would then obey. Otherwise, they wouldn't.
Well, that's
So,
not true because the thing, like you just said, or I don't know if you or Fox said it, those virtues don't have to specifically comply to religion. You can just be a good person and without knowingly following every one of the commandments, follow them just out of not wanting to hurt other people, not because, oh, I know every commandment and
mm,
every law and I want to follow it.
mhm. By the way, is
It
there is
does.
there
That's
is
the
there another
best kind
Christian
of
up
thing.
here, or am I getting jumped here? One, two, three,
Wait, Dorn,
four,
I was about to say,
This is a Christian.
Well, you had another one, but he left.
Hey,
Joshua left.
I'll drop in a second, but honest, you should know Bob has been harassing women in their DMs like
damn.
consistently and scarily, and atheist creators are blocking him in whole. He's been harassing women.
Wait, who?
Bob in the comments. Shoot, that's
It's
crazy.
like a yeah,
Bob?
Bob. Yeah, he's actually a big problem for women.
Oh, oh, say less. Say less.
You all
Hmm.
drop.
Oh,
I never liked Bob anyway.
I'm sorry.
Dang, Ron.
also, can we bring up Forrest after she
Oh no, I
drops?
never liked Bob, even when he was on Dorisha's panel.
Oh, gotcha. Um,
Well, say your prayers, Bob. You know what? You know God is real if you can get past this block button.
So, like, does Bob go to heaven, by the way?
I have no idea.
Does
I'll let
Bob go to
God decide
heaven if
that.
he believes in God?
I mean, to be honest with you, harassment is not one of the against one of the laws.
You know what? You know what I always say. I'm no one to judge God's people. So if he decides yes or no, well, God knows everything. So he must know if Bob will make it.
In order to get to heaven, is the only prerequisite you got to believe?
Be born again.
Uh, yeah. I mean, the belief is the beginning of a relationship with God, but like your belief is
Bro, I
either
gotta drop.
genuine. Hey, what's up? Your belief is either going to be proven to be genuine or false. And the way you know that is because a genuine belief would entail that you would follow Christ, meaning love the Lord your God and love your neighbor. If the fruit isn't there, it's like Jesus said, you'll know them by their fruit. If it's not there, then that faith really was a false type of faith. So you can say it all you want. You can say it all, I believe in Jesus. But if your actions aren't aligning, and sometimes there will be some disalignment because you're human, but they don't realign, that just shows that your faith really is not genuine.
But they genuinely do believe. Like, they genuinely do believe that there is heaven. They genuinely do believe in
Yeah,
the punishment, right? But
yeah. Many will call me Lord, Lord, but they're not going to enter. Right? That's what Jesus said. So you can say that all you want, like Jesus is Lord, Jesus is Lord. Yeah, well, you were harassing women and you didn't repent. So
But
have to
this is a
repent.
discussion.
I
This
say
is a
that
discussion.
I'm saying that facetiously. Y'all didn't laugh, but all right, it's all good.
But still, this is the discussion I need to have with.
Greetings from Jamaica. Okay, so he's throwing out question to any Christian. I had placed it down in the comment, but I'm not sure if everybody has seen it. Okay, the question is why Do Christian has to read a book to know an Almighty God?
Based.
You don't.
No. Do
You
you
don't have
read your
to.
Bible? Do you
Yeah, I
read your
do.
Bible?
I do, but you
So
don't have
why
to read a book
why no. Why do you read the Bible?
because it's God's revelation about Himself. So I read it because I want to
Who
know more
t-
about Him.
who tell you that?
Okay,
How do
now
you
you're
know that it's true?
okay.
How do
Now
you
you're
know that it's true?
now you're rabbit trailing. So let me answer your first question before we move on to the next part of the question. Okay, you don't have to read a book to know God. Okay, I'll give you a good example. Abraham himself never had a Bible in his hand, neither did he have anything, yet he believed God, as the scripture says,
Who
right?
is Abraham?
So you don't know who you want me to teach you who Abraham
No,
is?
who is you don't need to teach me. Who is
I'll teach
Abraham?
you. Yeah. Abraham would be the father of Israel, the father of the Israelites.
How do you know that?
What do you mean? It's
Let
within
me,
the text. It tells you.
How did you know that?
let
You
me answer
this
one
is bad
question that you
argumentation,
said.
man.
Let
FYI.
me
Answer the
answer one
question.
question that you said, and I'm not even a Christian. Most traditions are oral.
Epistemic nihilism?
Yes, that's what I was getting at, Coco.
Huh?
Okay, so like
This
if
is
we're
some Rush
doing
Hour 3 stuff. He is me and I am you.
You're stupid, bro.
so technically if we're doing a worldview comparison, I'm gonna need premise one of your premise-based argument that's gonna be able to ground how you're able to have intelligibility or know that you even exist.
Coco, don't.
So yeah, I'm gonna need a logical inference rule and a logical inference rule inspired premise-based argument.
Well, Mighty, I don't know. I don't know if they answered your question, but I think it's less of the thing for them is that's where the faith comes in. The things that they don't know, they have faith in.
Yeah, that's what make them feel good. It gives them hope and it makes them feel comfortable that, after life, there is something there.
What's wrong with that, though?
I'm the one to ask you, not me.
Yeah,
It's
what's
for
wrong with
you.
feeling good about
No,
that?
no, I didn't say
I feel
anything. I didn't say anything.
great.
It's okay to feel
Fine
good,
question to you.
but you need to. But you need
But that
to.
was your objection to my belief.
Yeah. But why
That
would
was
you
your objection
spread?
to my belief. But what's
Yeah,
wrong with feeling great?
but why would you let other persons want to believe your personal thing? Why don't you keep your personal belief to yourself? Here.
It's a
I do.
discussion, we've invited him to talk about it. It's okay.
Yes, hold on, wait there. Let them see.
I mean, I
Yes,
I can
sir.
step down, Rowan, if you want to go by Mighty's rules. I can just step down to
I'm
the
asking you a
comments.
question. Why would you put down your personal belief and wanted people to believe in what you believe? I
Oh, that's a
mean,
different
why?
question.
He's not doing that.
I'm not doing that. I don't force anybody to believe it. It's just a discussion.
But are you a messenger for God? Are you one of God's messenger? Just want to know.
I mean,
Are
yeah,
you?
but that doesn't mean I can't
All
have a
right. So
discussion.
why would God and Almighty God using a fallible man to to give his news, to give the good news to people? Why can't he do it himself? Why he has to use persons to do his work?
I'll
Why?
ask him when I get there. I don't know the answer to that.
Wow.
That goes back to Genesis, right? Because we lost that connection according to the
What
Bible.
what connection?
The actual ability to speak to God and have him respond.
Like physically there.
So tell me something. So where is God now? Where is he? Who is he?
He's here, he's
You
there,
read
he's
the Bible,
everywhere.
Where
Marty?
where can you Can you open your camera and show me?
Can I smell him? Can I touch him?
No, I'm just
can I
asking
sense
you
him?
where. And then if I don't believe in this God, he's going to send me to an everlasting burn. It's going to burn me forever. Why?
What an
Why would I?
asshole.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
bro, are you wanting to discuss, or you just
no,
just are you
allow me.
wanting to vent, bro? Bro, you
No,
crazy with that?
I'm just, opening your mind,
It's okay.
to
You can
think.
vent
Wait
to
a minute.
me. You can vent to me.
Why are you interrupting me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, vent. I'm here.
Why are you in such a haste? Allow me
I'm
to
not.
finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, allow me to finish. It's just for you to think. Just think about what I'm saying. And Almighty God, I mean, if there was an Almighty God, I mean, why would He need us? I mean, and then if we don't behave ourselves, He's going to burn us for eternity. Why? I mean, this God has some
Do
feelings.
you have children?
He's easily to be upset.
Do you
I
have children?
mean, no, just let me finish and
Oh, I thought you
That's
were
a
done.
good point. That is a good point about feelings. If,
this God, this God, but the Almighty God shouldn't have a
Let me know when I can answer.
feelings.
I'll give you a
He
exactly.
second.
shouldn't have a the God shouldn't have a jealous feeling. He shouldn't get upset. He shouldn't. Why is he upset? That he's going to burn persons who don't believe in him. Why? I can't. Can you make that? I can't get that one. Why?
That's crazy as fuck, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, so as
You good now,
a
Mighty?
recently converted Catholic, I can answer these questions. So God is just going to be like a metaphysical entity, right? That exists outside of space, time, and everything
What?
else, right? Yeah,
How do you
God is
know
basically going to
that?
be like metaphysical, and he exists
How
in
do
B
you know
theory of
that?
time.
Faith.
Faith? What is faith? Tell me, help me out.
Well, yeah,
Believe.
faith is derivative of the Latin
Believe, but
root confide, so just gonna mean like confidence.
the word believe is automatically you don't know. I think that's
That's not the
that's
case.
the bottom line. I mean, if I believe, I don't believe in myself.
Wait, hold
I
You
on,
don't
don't
believe
believe
in the
in
sun.
God. You
That's
know
not
you
the
don't.
case.
I don't believe
I
in the
do know that
sun.
God
I
exists.
don't believe in human being. I don't believe in the rain. I know, but I mean,
Yeah,
you people believe in.
I know that
But
God
you people
exists.
believe
Knowing
in
God is
God.
different than believing in Him, and that's what He's saying, and that is
Oh, that's
true.
you
I know
believe
that
in
God
God.
exists.
You believe in God, but I don't believe. I believe in
I think the word faith
humanity.
is better. Faith. Let's use the word
Huh?
faith.
Faith
Wait,
is the next. Faith is almost similar to hope, and you're hoping for this and you're hoping for that.
It's
Oh,
like
come
this. Do
on.
you believe
yeah,
in your
yeah. Wait, hold on, hold
parents?
on. So, like, I know that God exists, given that I have a strong tradition of like teachings being passed
You
down to me
know
by
that
church
God
fathers
exists?
who
Oh,
literally walked
wait.
with
You know
Jesus.
that God exists?
I
But
know
it's
that God
Wow.
exists. Yeah.
but it's
Wow.
weird
How?
to like linguistically. It's weird to say you believe in it. You don't believe in your parents. You know 'em.
Right. But you people believe in God. But I
You can't say
mean,
you people. You don't know who you're talking to on the panel.
What do you
I
mean
don't
by
No, I'm
you
an
care
people?
atheist.
I mean who the cap fits wears it. I mean whosoever it fits, you take it. Who believe in God? Why you believe in God?
I believe in God
Why?
because of the
So Mighty.
teachings that are passed down to me by the church fathers who literally walked with God.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So tell me something. So you practicing what is in the Bible? I think that's what
Um.
you're supposed to do in order
Yeah,
to
for the
reach
most part.
heaven.
They try.
Oh, oh, you're trying to practice or you're practicing.
I try. I'm a human being.
Oh, so why as
Yeah, I have a question
again?
for you. Can you let me ask you this question?
Okay, go ahead.
Have
I'll
you
try
read
and
the
answer.
Bible?
I was a Christian before, and it's the Bible itself
What kind of
that
Christian?
Wait a minute now, just to let me
Wait,
finish.
wait, what
It's the
denomination?
Bible. It's
Asking a lot of questions that are so
wait now.
simply
Let me
answered.
finish answer. Let me finish answer. Then you
I think
can
maybe you were
ask.
part of a heretical
I'm
Christianity.
It's the
dead.
Bible. It's the Bible itself that led me. That opened my mind. That it's ridiculous. It's BS.
Wait,
It's
what denomination
stupid.
were you a part of?
It's stupid.
Stupid?
You
The
understand?
denomination?
It doesn't matter. I mean, you have millions, thousands of denomination, and that's another confusion.
Well, yeah,
Were
but
you
like,
Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah, why you have so many other denomination?
yeah,
Why is all
they're
this
heresies.
confusion?
Like all the other denominations are heresies. The Catholic Church is the true Church of God.
But you're all confused, yo.
How do you know that?
I mean, I don't know which one is correct. Which
The
one
one,
is correct?
the one that has the teachings that are passed down through generations and preserved by people who actually knew Jesus and people who descended from and followed the church teachings.
So what about the other denomination?
Oh yeah, those are heresies. They're heretical.
Well, they are saying the same thing about you.
Yeah, they're confused
So
because they don't have ties to they don't have ties to the early church.
Bombing and killing each other, and it's religion causing all of this.
Well, yeah, but the difference is because like the Catholics have like ties to like the church fathers, while the other denominations kind of like are interpreting the Bible themselves and not adhering to like the message that the authors might be trying to like give, right? Like whenever you're trying to figure out like what's the true teaching, you want to understand what the authors are trying to say.
All right,
so that's why the Catholics, right, are kind of superior in that sense, because we actually adhere to the church fathers and we're trying to understand what the authors are saying, then pass those teachings down generation by generation.
So what do you think about an atheist? I mean,
hold on, wait. But that answers your question, right?
If God wanted people to follow the correct path, you might expect that the message is going to be clear enough that it would produce.
I'm asking a fresh question. Yeah. What do you think about persons like
me?
But
did we answer your previous question?
Can I answer one of your 50 questions at least?
Yeah, so you're conceding on the last question, right?
What do you think about me? Am I going to
GG,
burn?
So we're pivoting to a different topic.
Hell? Am I going to hell?
GG, so we're pivoting to a different topic, right?
Am I going to hell?
Wait.
Bro, this is not the panel for this.
So GG's, we're moving to a different topic. In regards to like whether you're going to hell, I can't tell you. God has the permission to permit whoever he wants to into hell or to heaven.
But there's no such being. I mean,
okay, can you give me a premise-based argument for that?
Where is this God?
Wait, I have a question. If God established one church, one real church,
did you say if? Okay, go ahead.
Hey, I'm on your side. I'm an atheist, by the way. I was just answering some questions for the other side because you were kind of attacking and it was getting a little bit much.
So what's going to be your hermeneutical principle for analyzing the Bible?
Are you asking me?
Or no, I guess you and Mighty.
The word hermetical mean? I haven't heard that word before.
Hermetic principles.
Oh, it's just going to be like the principle in which you interpret the Bible.
Coco, stop frying people, bro. Let them.
No, like, was the word hermetical like necessary there?
It's hermeneutical, and yeah, it's just going to be the way in which you're interpreting the biblical message or the text that you're reading.
Like I said before, it comes down to it's a fear-based religion.
Like, you know how to say it.
Would you like for me to help here? You know what, Mighty? Why don't you define what hermeneutics is? Yeah, what is hermeneutics, Mighty? Hermeneutics.
I don't know. At least I'm honest. I don't know.
Okay, but yeah, so earlier you said that God doesn't exist. So can we get like a premise-based argument that follows a logical inference rule that would demonstrate that God doesn't exist?
You want me to prove that God doesn't exist?
Not prove. I asked for an argument.
No, do you want me to prove it?
No, not prove. I asked for an argument.
Why you don't want me to prove it?
Because I don't believe that we can prove God exists or doesn't exist. So I'm asking for an argument.
You're going back to the belief system.
Yeah, blunder number one. So can we get back to? I'm asking for an argument, right?
Christian.
It's a trap, bro. This is a trap.
Christians are believers, you know.
I'm just asking for a basic argument. So blunder number two. Can you give me an argument?
Christians
just like your last girlfriend. It's a trap.
Stop the meta. Stop the meta.
Christians
stop the meta. Blunder number three. Can I get an argument for why God doesn't exist?
You're all believers. I mean.
Okay, so like ad hominem. Stop the meta.
Claim.
Ron is the most radical Christian on here, so be careful.
What?
You should be.
So you guys do
yeah, so we're gonna need that argument with the inference rule, right? In regards to how God doesn't exist.
Dude.
But
why do you keep repeating yourself? A rational belief, okay, in a claim should be based on evidence. What is the evidence that you have that God does exist?
Yeah, because the burden of proof is upon you.
Oh,
The
so the
burden
evidence
of
that I
They
have
proof.
have
that,
their text, which is the Bible, and that's all they have.
well, yeah.
You
So
cannot.
like,
There's
Because that's why that word,
It
when
is
they use that word
fallible.
hermeneutics, it just means the theory or methodology and art of interpretation, specifically focusing on the understanding of written text.
But it's
The only
fallible men wrote the
wait.
Bible.
The
It's
only written
fallible
text you
men.
know is the Bible.
Fallible men wrote the Bible.
well,
That's why they're
actually,
keeping it internal.
wait. That's not necessarily the case. So like, we have
How is it not? You have no other text that you're going to talk about through this except that text.
Yeah.
And you
So
can't
whenever
tell
it comes
me.
to like when it comes to the naming of the Gospels or like verifying certain stuff, we have writings from like Irenaeus and Papias, and also we have scholars that can confirm this.
What really I don't
To
understand
confirm what?
The existence of God? I don't
Or
think
yeah,
so.
they could at the very least confirm the existence of Jesus. We have other people that are talking about
We're not
Jesus.
talking about Jesus. We're
Confirm
talking
that
about the
Jesus did what?
God.
Can
Well,
they
yeah,
confirm
Jesus
that
is
Jesus
God,
did
according to my
what
belief.
the book said he did?
That's what I'm telling you. Your belief is what confines you.
We don't have a
It
belief.
traps you within
I
that.
don't
So
believe.
you're
I
not gonna
don't
go out of
believe.
that.
Is it? You see, they have to go in a book.
Yeah,
Well, wait,
I'm
Mighty,
understanding.
Mighty, you're
of
pivoting.
books.
Wait, Mighty, you said that God doesn't exist. So can we get like the evidence or like the motivation for why we should believe
Because
that?
there is no.
You still,
Because he's not exist. There's no
Well, I mean,
God.
yeah, but can we get an argument?
There is none.
but
That
still,
is why.
There is none
it is an
argument,
on the
no argument
opposite.
for God
That
not
is the
existing.
reason why we are arguing, because there is none.
Wait, I mean, like that's not logically
Very
entailed. It is
simple
logically
and
possible that we
easy.
could be arguing about
Because
God and
there
God could
is
still
none.
exist.
No, you bring God to me.
I mean, it could be the case that we're all ignorant and we're arguing over a God that does exist.
No.
That's logically possible.
The burden of proof is upon you. You
Wait,
are
no,
the
you
one
said that God doesn't exist, so you
are
actually made a claim. So we're
because
gonna need
you
like the
said
justification or the
because
motivation
you
for that
say he
claim.
exists. You are the one that claiming that he exists. You made a claim.
Well, you said that God doesn't exist. So I'm
No,
asking, why do you
because
believe
you
that?
said it.
This is a
You are the one.
classic tactic. This is a
Come on,
classic
don't
tactic. You
bother
can't.
with that.
Wait, Mighty, does God exist or not exist? You said
He
that he didn't
doesn't,
exist.
because there
Okay,
is
yeah,
no
so now you have
My
a burden. So
position
could you please like
is that
justify
the
that
evidence
burden?
presented.
We're gonna need like a premise-based argument
Thank
that
you.
follows a logical inference rule.
Yeah, you said that. My position
I haven't got
is
it yet though.
my position. Oh my god. The evidence presented so far does not justify believing that God does exist.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're just lacking in evidence?
No, that's enough.
So are you.
Well,
You're-
no, I'm
you're-
asking.
No, bro. Like, why you keep doing that though?
Because
like, you're lacking in evidence, and they're lacking in evidence. The
well,
same
I'm not
thing.
lacking in evidence. I can give you evidence.
We'll give the
So
evidence.
where is it? So where?
It's because
is God?
Coco's not making the claims. Mighty is making all the claims.
Well, still,
Yeah.
I want the evidence.
Where is God?
Yeah, so
Where
for
is
me,
God?
I'm gonna define evidence as something that anything that raises the probability of a claim being true. So that could be like a philosophical
You are
argument.
the
That could
people
be
that
like
going around lying
historical
to people.
writings.
You are going around lying.
Can a philosophical argument be used as evidence?
Yeah, like as long as it raises the probability of a claim being true.
How would a philosophical conversation raise the probability of something being true?
Yeah, so if I can give you a premise-based argument that follows the logical inference rules, well, I mean, like I don't have one, but I'm saying like if I could present a premise-based argument that follows logical inference rules that doesn't contain a contradiction, you don't think that wouldn't raise the probability?
But
no, like I just study logic and philosophy.
Oh, you
but you're not using logic.
I mean, well, can you show me the P and not P of the or like a contradiction in any of my reasoning that I've presented so far?
You said what?
I'll take that as a concession from Mighty. But no, I was wondering like, could anyone present me like a P and not P in my logical reasoning so far?
What
it would be a
you
logical
saying?
contradiction.
I mean, I'm not understanding you.
Well, yeah. So when it comes to logic, a P and not P is going to be like a contradiction, right? So so you're saying like what I'm doing is not logical. So you're saying that there's some kind of like contradiction entailed in what I'm reasoning.
What does that got to prove
So
there's a God?
I'm just asking you for the
to
P and
do?
not P.
What does that got to do? There's a God.
You said I was illogical, so I'm just wondering like what logic textbook have you read, and like what's the P and not P in my logical
At least
reasoning?
said cite your sources.
Yeah, cite your sources and give me like a P and not P. which would entail a contradiction, according to
Class
your
is in
argument.
session.
Are you a Catholic?
Okay, so I'm just gonna accept that as a
Are
concession,
you
right?
a
Like, if
Catholic?
you can present the P and not P, then
Are
like
you a
clearly
Catholic?
my reasoning is logical.
Are you a Catholic?
If I said everything written in an ancient sacred text is true.
As long as it doesn't contain a P and not P, which would be a logical contradiction, then yeah.
Well, there are a lot of P and not P's in that
Plenty
book.
of those.
Okay, so could you present the P and not P?
Are you a
Well,
Catholic?
okay,
Hello,
we presented a lot of them earlier, and that's what this whole thing was about. The theological flaws in the Bible, correct? Like that's what the prompt said.
I mean, yeah, but like I just like to see like the P and not P.
Now I'm gonna give you. Well, do we just need a flaw in the Bible, or the?
So essentially it would be like like the Bible saying one thing and then saying the opposite of that thing or the negation of that thing somewhere else.
Exodus saying that there's 600,000 Israelites that went to that migrated from Egypt, right? But if we go to the ancient Hebrew, that word is like messed up. Like it's given a different translation. So 600,000 could actually mean like a tribe. So why is that way? Why is it
in Genesis?
I think Forrest wants to come up.
Wait, because the question I'm asking is why isn't all the text the same? Why are they switched?
Well, yeah, so that would just be like an interpretation issue. That wouldn't be like a P and not P. Like a P and not P would be like the Bible saying one thing somewhere and then saying the negation.
I'll give you another one when God says that he's all things good, but then he's jealous at the same time. I don't think jealousy is a good thing.
But also, can we bring up Forrest? He's a heretical Eastern Orthodox preacher.
guys,
I would like to debate him.
It was nice being here. I have to go now.
Oh,
yeah, so,
man.
so
Come on,
is
Mighty,
that a
hold on.
concession?
Hold on, Mighty.
No,
So is that a concession? Because Mighty, you couldn't present the P and not P.
Just one more thing before I go.
So that's a concession.
P and not P?
So W Roman Catholics. But anyway.
Christians, stop watching cartoons. All right, thank you.
What?
Okay, Mighty. So like,
I'll stop watching Spider-Man. And
In the book of Genesis,
so everyone take
tests
note. I just got a win
and
against
temps-
Mighty. He couldn't present me with
Yeah,
the P and
I'm
not
just
P.
here to cook this. I'm here to cook this Roman Catholic dog.
Forrest, this Forrest
go ahead
guy's
and turn to
heretical. He
Timothy
is a
4,
heretical
1 through
Eastern
3, where it
Orthodox.
says that if you say that men can't get married, that's the doctrine of devils. Go ahead and read that for me and inform me of why the Catholic Church, according to the Latin Rite, is the doctrine of devils. Coco, go ahead.
First off, where are you getting your sources from, and who are your
Timothy
church
4,
fathers?
1 through 3. That's going to be in the Bible, in the New Testament. I'm not sure if you've actually read it, but you're going to need to go check it. Okay, bud?
I actually have. I do adhere to like the church fathers.
Read it.
What are
Thank
you
you.
Where are
Go
your
ahead.
church fathers?
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
What verse exactly are you pointing to?
Timothy chapter 4, 1 through 3. Those are going to be the verses. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll pull that up. But like, who are your church fathers? Just out of curiosity.
I don't need any. I just need you to answer the question. That's dodge number one and blunder
you're
number
Eastern
2.
Orthodox, right? So Eastern Orthodox is claiming to be
Absolutely.
like
The original
a church. With,
church. The original
Listen,
church.
Buckaroo.
The original church.
Can y'all slow down this conversation?
Does the
Much
passage
slower
say?
for this guy, Coco.
I mean, this
No,
Forrest
I'm
guy
like,
is
come on,
for the rest of
this
us,
Forrest
God darn
guy
it.
is like he's a heretic. He's a heretic. He doesn't teach the true
Just
teachings
put it on
of
the
Jesus
screen
Christ.
for him. I'm not sure this guy can read.
That's pretty funny coming from the Eastern Orthodox. They're ignoring the tradition that was clearly handed down to Peter, the first pope, that founded the Catholic Church.
Well, we appreciate all the 62 people who are watching us.
Yeah, so the guy Tiny in the comments, he's lying. I am a fully committed Roman Catholic. And yeah, I believe that Roman Catholicism is the true church. This guy Forrest is heretical.
What's the evidence for that?
Yeah, just go ahead and give me the big screen so this guy can actually read
it's
the
just
Bible
going to be
for the
the
first time.
teachings that were passed down to Peter, that were passed down to the early church, that were then passed down generation by generation.
You mind reading this, sir, if you can, if you're literate?
I am very literate.
All right, just go ahead and start with 4. That's the word now.
Oh yeah. So that's going to be from the Bible that the Catholic Church helped organize, right? And choose
go
which
ahead.
books go into it.
That's dodge number 1.
Oh yeah, you were responsible for the Bible that you're reading out of.
I'll read it for him, don't worry. Now, the Spirit expressly says that in latter times, Some will renounce the faith by paying attention to deceitful spirits and teachings of demons. What are these teachings of demons? Through the hypocrisy of liars whose consciences are seared with a hot iron. That's you, bud. They forbid marriage and abstain from certain foods which God created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and know the truth. What's the truth? The truth is that you should and can get married. Why does the Latin Rite confirm that priests should not get married if the Bible expressly says that this is a doctrine of demons? Could you answer that question for me?
Okay, so I mean, where in that verse is it really referring to like priest, right? It's not really.
Oh
like,
no,
referring
you
to
refer
priest.
to priests in your teachings, in your practices. Do you believe in the Roman Catholic faith, according to the Latin Rite, that priests can get married? Yes or no?
Yeah, because that's just going to be like a teaching descendant from our church fathers.
Absolutely, it's one of the devil, according to the Bible.
Well, yeah, but like, is that specific verse referring to like priest or who
It's
exactly is it
according
referring
to
to in
anyone.
regards to denying like
They
marriage?
forbid marriage. Can priests
Yeah.
get married?
Well, yeah, was Jesus married?
No. Jesus
Exactly. So
Jesus is God.
Priests are
This
just
is actually really
embodying.
interesting.
Jesus is
Very
God, you
interesting.
heretic.
Priests are just embodying the relationship that Jesus had with the early church, right? Priests are actually technically married. They're married to the church, to the people, servicing
this is on
the
earth,
people.
sir, not spiritually.
Yeah, so actually, technically, priests are married. They're married to the church and to the people, and servicing them. And
Can
being
you
leaders to
abstain from
them.
certain foods spiritually, or is that a physical thing?
I'm not really sure. I'd have to go check the
there's
teachings
no
of the
such
church
thing as
fathers.
spiritual food,
The ones
sir.
that I have that you don't have, because the Catholic Church is the true church. But yeah,
It sure is, according to the Eastern
church is the
Orthodox.
wife of the priest.
Yeah, you may be my wife after this debate, sir. So I just need to know why you guys are teaching priests not to get married, and the Bible says that you should and can, and it says that it is a doctrine of devils and a deceitful spirit to teach anything other than that.
Okay, actually, technically, I'm not going to be your wife after this debate is over. I'm actually going to school to become a priest. So just letting you know.
Oh, so you can't get married either.
Yeah,
but I will have
defiled
defiled you already after this debate.
If you become Methodist, you could.
That's not possible, Coco. I've already run you through the ringer up here, buddy.
Well, like Eastern Orthodox, Methodist, all those other denominations, they're heretical, and the Roman Catholic Church is going to be the true church.
The Church of Demons.
The Church of God, right? Where we're just copying.
What does it say
the
here,
example
sir?
that Jesus set.
What does it say? They forbid marriage?
Well, yeah, was Jesus married?
You guys forbid marriage, don't you?
Well, yeah, because
okay, perfect. So it's the doctrine of devils. Thank you.
Well, no, the priest is married to the church, right? And he's copying the example of Jesus, who's going to be the one that passed down the teachings that we have, unlike every other denomination.
I've already accepted my concession. We can move on from this heretic. Would you like to start speaking in tongues, sir, since you're the devil?
Well,
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I'm the Roman Catholics, right? We're not the other denominations that speak in tongues and talk to snakes. But also, like, you haven't specified in that verse where it says that, like, everyone, including priests, has to be married.
Oh, it says they forbid marriage. Does that encompass all marriages? I think it does.
I mean, but also, like, you haven't responded to me saying that the priest is married to the church.
Oh yeah, that's a spiritual thing. That's not figurative. This is not figurative here. This is literal. It says they forbid marriage.
Does that verse specify about like spiritual or?
Absolutely, it says abstain from certain foods right afterwards.
Well, that's not referring to
They're
marriage.
not physically eating the foods because you guys are teaching.
That's not referring to marriage. It doesn't specify whether the marriage should be physical.
These are physical acts, sir. Is marriage and eating physical?
Well, marriage doesn't have to be physical, according to like my tradition, right? The priest is married to the church.
Yeah, your tradition is doctrine of demons.
Well, the tradition that was handed down to us by Jesus
you
Christ
actually
in the early church.
You agreed. It's fine, sir.
There is a difference between saying marriage is evil and saying that some people choose not to marry for religious service.
Right, but who is forbidding marriage? The Roman Catholic Church.
So really quick, Tidy decided to say he has a video of me crashing out on like a theist.
I believe it.
I just want to say like
show
that's AI. I would never.
No, I actually saw you confessing that I wonder why was correct and that you're
no. That's heretical. I'm a Roman Catholic, and any video of me debating Christians is AI. I'm just letting you know.
Wow, there's a vast, extensive history of you doing so.
Yeah, all of that is the government is conspiring against me.
Okay, so we should probably just drop this guy back in the comments. To be honest with you, sounds criminally insane.
No, I'm totally joking. But like, absolutely AI. I believe in the Roman Catholic Church.
Do we have any real Christians up here?
Yeah, any real Christians besides this heretical Eastern Orthodox?
Yeah,
Far as
Fox
God knows.
Mulder's been attacking me lately. I think he may be Christian as well.
No, I'm not a Christian. I'm E5, bro. But
All right.
to the controller, what do you know the controversy?
You can take
what
the
do you
big
think
screen
about
back
the
on.
biggest
I'm
bro?
done cooking this heretic.
Okay, wait. You still haven't answered me about like spiritual weddings. That verse doesn't specify about like spiritual
I'm about
weddings.
to go through a spiritual wedding with you, buddy.
Okay, I'm spiritually married to the church, so I mean,
You need to say as I do. Everything afterwards, just close your eyes and bite your
look at
bottom
this
lip, all right?
heretic engaging in lust, this like absolute lust, which is one of the 7 deadly sins.
Make too much noise, buddy.
That's absolutely crazy. You know, like the Catholics, we don't approve of like any of those sinful actions like other denominations do.
It's over with for atheism.
But yeah, I am ready to cook the entire panel on whether God exists. Okay.
You didn't cook the whole time.
Repeated yourself.
Like, what the hell, bro?
You're standing facing towards the sink, sir. You're not even in the vicinity of the oven.
I really don't see how that verse
You
debunks
making
Roman
sushi, bro.
Catholicism.
Shout out to God in the building. God has made it to the chat.
And God is a woman.
That is heretical.
Man, God, where you been these 400 years? Okay. All right. We will be into the live stream in probably about 10, 12 minutes. So if y'all want to try and conclude on to the conversation of the prompt, I know we have New Vic up here. You wanted to answer the prompt, New Vic? Are you there, Vic?
Also, by the way,
I don't even know if he knew.
The strong silent type.
Also, by the way, for the record, I'm agnostic. I got bored, so I decided to argue the Christian position.
No, don't backtrack now, buddy.
You literally can look on my page.
It's definitely easy to argue both sides. There's arguments for both for sure.
That's why I'm agnostic.
Okay, we do have Holy Trinity. You want to answer the prompt real quick, Holy Trinity?
Izzy, have you read 1 Timothy 2:12 or 1 Corinthians 14:34?
I'm gonna get my workout in. We'll see you around. See you, Coco.
I don't know if I have.
I appreciate you, Lewis.
I read the Bible a lot when I was younger, but I'm not. I don't subscribe to the belief.
This is out, ma'am.
So what's the theological flaw? Like I don't think there's a theological flaw.
Is that a Christian in the?
I can present one.
Yes, I'm a Christian.
No, they're not a Christian. I was trying to see if we could have one more believer to back up Holy Trinity. But go ahead, Holy Trinity.
I'm about to drop so you can get some more believers up here, bro. Y'all have a good day.
You too,
I
brother.
appreciate you, Fox.
Hey.
So what's the theological flaw? So I can answer.
Right. Well, Christianity contains thousands of denominations, right? They all claim to interpret the same Bible correctly. So how would an ordinary, regular person determine which one is true?
Well, a lot of the denominations, they go off of comfortability, like where you got some denominations that don't believe in hell. You got some denominations believe that once saved, always saved. So it's like it's a lot of things that plays a part in that. And if you're not going off the Bible, and if you're not strictly following Christ, then all those denominations don't matter, because at the end of the day, if you're not living in obedience, if you're not seeking to have oil, your lamp filled with oil for the rapture, so that way you ascend when Jesus comes back, you ascend and don't be stuck here.
So how are we supposed to interpret the Bible when it's contradictory?
So what's contradicting about the Bible?
Sure, it's really easy here.
Yeah,
do
so I
you
can give you
believe that,
one.
as it states in the Bible, that bloodshed is needed for the remission of sin? Yes or no?
Well, yeah, Jesus already paid that.
No, that's not the question that I asked. Is bloodshed necessary for the remission of sin, as according to Galatians 9:22? Is that true, sir?
Hold on, let me Galatians what?
9:22.
All right, you ain't got to get an attitude. Just calm down.
Is bloodshed necessary for the remission of sin?
Let me go look at the verse. Hold on.
I don't know how you don't already know this. Have you just never read the Bible, sir?
Bro, it's a whole Bible, bro. I'm not finna recite.
Yeah, you should know it,
the
sir.
whole Bible.
You should know it.
No,
If this
you
is
can't tell me what I'm
You're gonna
supposed to know.
This is
subscribe
the
to a
pathway
belief
to heaven,
system.
sir.
Calm down, bro. Calm
This is
down,
the
bro.
pathway to eternal life. You should know this book.
No, calm down, bro.
Why
Oh,
have all
you
the
shouldn't know
people
the
that
book.
have
Okay,
read
great.
it through and through? Why do they not believe it? Like,
Let me go look at this verse.
we've all
real
read
quick.
it and we don't believe in it. So,
Oh, but this gentleman says that he does. He's just never read this passage.
exactly.
Sure, I was gonna ask him about
We
when
don't care
Jesus
what
was
you're asking, heretic.
before is. I was gonna ask about what time Jesus was born, because Luke says he was born during Quirinius's reign, but Matthew says that he was born during Herod.
I'll cook you next, buddy. Let me just ask this guy what his hermeneutical principles are, and then ask him to spell the word hermeneutical.
I'll do that.
I'm kidding. I love Forrest. Pause, no homo.
Oh, you said Galatians 9:22?
Yeah. It's Hebrews 9:22, but you can read Galatians.
I was about to say,
9:22
bro,
too.
that
You can
that's
read
not
Galatians
popping up.
9:22 too,
I was gonna
because
say that too.
that's another contradiction.
So
if you want to read that
Hebrews,
one,
you said Hebrews 5:22?
9:22. You can actually read the other one too, because both of those 9:22s are both contradictory to other parts. Either one. There's just hundreds of contradictions in the Bible. Do you know why? Because it's not univocally written. Over 40 authors
So
are all anonymous.
I just looked at that verse really quickly, and that's not what that means, bro.
What does Hebrews 9:22 mean?
So listen. Jesus had perfect blood, and he possessed.
What does
the
Hebrews
Holy-
9:22 say, sir? Let's read it. Let's avoid running from.
Let me
the
get my
actual
Bible so I don't
verse.
have to flip back and forth. Hold on.
Perfect. I love it. Nothing that delights me more than the sound of angry Bible page turning.
But regardless, like, Forrest is a heretic, so...
Coco, you've already been vanquished to hell, sir. I'll see you down there in a few months, okay?
You're interesting because you have a lot of like.
Do you have the ability to read the Bible, sir, or do you want to run from it?
I just got the Bible, bro. Can you calm down?
All right, let's read it.
Can you calm down?
Oh, here's the best
Are you
apologist.
possessed,
This
bro?
is the best apologist on the
Are
app
you
right here.
possessed?
Jared is number one.
Weird dude.
Would you like to read the Bible, sir?
Yeah, what's up?
Jared is the best apologist on the app.
And you the biggest asshole on the app.
That's true, sir.
Why?
Thank you.
Why does God say that we
appreciate
must
that.
forgive? Why does
I'll
God
go ahead
say
and
that
read.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on, I'm hearing way too many things.
Right?
Well, Jared, maybe if you just stay silent for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead, honey.
You're next, buddy. Jared, do you ever talk to Justin? He's live right now. I'd love to see you go
Hey,
up
put me
there.
at the top.
Deconstruction Justin.
It don't matter to me. But
You
yeah,
ever
you guys were
talk to
saying something.
Justin?
Go ahead. I've never met him before.
I think you're the best apologist on the app. You need to go up there and fry him.
So Hebrews 9:22 says, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission.
So is it true that you need bloodshed to require the remission of sin? Yes or no? He's going to BibleDefender.com. How do I answer this question?
Actually, I clicked off on accident. Jesus already paid our remission of sins, bro.
I'm asking you a question that you failed to answer 4 times now.
Is bloodshed necessary for the remission of sin? Yes or no?
We were separated from God
That is
through
still
Adam
not a
and
yes
Eve,
or no
bro.
answer. That's
Yes.
5 times you.
Yes,
Okay,
bro.
so
Yes.
yes.
Let him
Jesus'
answer.
Jesus'
Six,
blood
took 6
is
times of me
remission
asking.
of our sins.
Perfect,
Yes.
perfect. Now let's go back to Leviticus 2, or
Like,
we
this
could just
dude
go
is
to Mark 2.
retarded.
No, you can't say that word on TikTok.
You gotta drop him for that. He's
TikTok
gonna get
calls
your
you.
live. He's gonna get
You've
your
been out
live
here being the
violated.
biggest asshole. You think I care?
Hey! You can't.
TikTok
You the
calls
biggest
you. You can't
asshole
say that
ever.
word.
Go back down in the comments, okay, buddy? We're gonna
That's
baptize
fine.
you.
That's fine, bro. They
Of
can
course
drop me
it's
whenever
fine
they get ready.
because I'm gonna tell you have to go back down in the comments, buddy.
Okay, bro. You
See you
got
later.
control issues.
See you later.
You let him speak though. I think you're kind of like
You just used the
making
R
supposed to
slur.
be
He's
a
got to go
debate.
back down in the comments.
I just answered his question.
Yeah, but then I told you that it's not, right? Because Leviticus 2 says that you can give a flour offering. And in Mark 2, they lower down the paralyzed man to Jesus. He looks at him and he forgives him of his sins. So no, it's not necessary. And if you look at Luke, you can see that Mary Magdalene was forgiven of her sins by washing Jesus' feet with her hair and oil. So no, that's 3 different situations where
Leviticus
you do not have to
is the Old Testament. That has nothing to do with
shit,
the
Sherlock.
remission.
Thanks, genius.
Okay, and the New Testament fulfilled the Old Testament, buddy.
No, it doesn't. It's the same law. Matthew 5:17-20, Jesus confirms this. Have you ever read the Bible, sir? I doubt it.
Yeah.
See you later.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he must have.
Yeah, that was a cook.
Yeah, it was.
God dang it.
Calling me the R word, but you
he did
can't
have to
read.
get removed.
Congratulations, sir. You're dumb in 2
Did you
languages.
get restricted? Ron, did you get restricted?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't get restricted. No, it's like a matter of time that you have to take them
Yeah,
down
you only get
before
like 90 seconds.
Yeah. So
I mean, like Trinity, I'm pretty. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ron. Holy Trinity, I'm pretty sure you can come back up. You just have to watch your mouth because we have to drop you every time you do something stupid.
well, he has a 10 minute marker on him, and we about to end the live stream in a few anyway. So.
He can go read those passages later. Luke 2, Mark 2,
Oh, boy.
Luke 1. Jesus in the New Testament forgives sins with no bloodshed, and in the Old Testament you can give a flour offering in Leviticus 2:1-8. He's never read the Bible though, so maybe you should.
And
go
so
do
there
that,
you go.
Sir.
The Christian religion has theological flaws. Period.
Of course. But Ron, real quick, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
After that thing that you found that I wasn't guilty of, did you restore my full mod power? Because I'm trying to use it on my computer on my mod account, but I'm trying to figure out if it's because of the power or if it's because I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, the thing is, your account, the one that you're on right now, isn't.
No, I'm on my computer on my other account, and I'm trying to.
Oh.
Yeah, but so I got a notification that you're able to moderate from the web, and I wanted to see, I wanted to find the buttons for it, but I wasn't sure if I wasn't finding all of them because I wasn't fully restored, or if it was because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you fully restored.
Okay, thank you. I'll go back to the.
Not let you do it if he's on a different platform from you, such as if he's like using Studio, you might need to be on your PC, and then if he's on his phone, you might need to use your phone.
Oh, no, that's not the issue. So I'm on this account, I don't have it, but on my other account, I do have it, right? And they just did this update where you're able to moderate from your web browser. Before you couldn't moderate on your web browser. You could only do it on your phone. So I was trying to use my my capabilities, but for some reason it was being weird. But yeah, anyways, back to the conversation.
How do you say your name? Elise?
I love you, C.
Oh, I love you. Oh, it's literally like an acronym. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so Jared, was Jesus born during the Quirinius reign or under Herod?
Was it 4 BCE or was it 6 AD?
I'm not so sure on that one. I have to look it up on that one.
Well,
no
if
one's
you
sure.
find the answer,
Not even the Bible. Not even the Bible, sure.
Yeah, not even the Bible is sure, because Luke basically says that Jesus was born during the Quirinius reign, while Matthew claims that Jesus was born during Herod. So even the Bible gets the dating wrong on when Jesus was born.
That's a 10-year difference. That's a really big deal.
Oof.
I've heard of something like that, and I heard different answers to it. But I say that, I think it was during the time of King Herod, because he was the king at that time period. But I also learned was that, even though King Herod was the king, he also had other positions as well that he can take. Like he was like governor of this place or something else of this other place. So I would say he was probably born during the time of King Herod, because King Herod did try to kill him.
So the other
but
part
he
of
was
the Bible is
unsuccessful
wrong.
in doing that.
So you're saying Luke is getting
I
it
don't say
wrong.
it's wrong.
Okay, cool.
No, I don't think it's wrong, but that's just my answer to that question.
Well, he can't
That's
be
all I know
born.
about it.
He can't be born at 2 different
Lots of
times.
love. I'm leaving.
Later, Izzy.
No, I don't think he's
Bye.
born at 2 different times. I highly doubt
Well, the
that.
Bible does.
That would
All
be
right,
weird.
Miss Izzy.
The Bible does. So.
So what do you think?
Oh, I don't think that Jesus ever existed. I don't think Jesus was a real person.
Wait, you took the the mythicist position?
On that one.
What's that?
Huh?
You took the mythicist position for us?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Shoot.
Give me any contemporary evidence of Jesus' lifetime from anybody who wrote about him outside of the Bible, which is, by the way, an anonymous book, which has many contradictions, including ones that are written about his own birth narrative. Why should I suspect that a book that is written in antiquity has any factual information when it's written by people who are motivated to confirm the narrative of the basis of its entire religion?
Yeah, so yeah.
Shoot, well, if you're saying that, we can use that for any other book that we practically read at this point, if you're going to go with that type of skepticism.
Well, yeah. So when it comes to the Gospels, they're written internally anonymously, right? The writers don't identify themselves. While like other books in the Bible, the writers make it very clear, like who's writing, like Jude or Paul and any of his letters. But the Gospels are written internally anonymous, and like the names don't even get added to the Gospels until 2nd century with Irenaeus or Papias.
All right, so you just think just anonymous people just decided to go ahead and write the Bible and call it a day, or at least
We
the
don't know
Gospels?
who
Is that how you feel?
we don't know who wrote those books until like Irenaeus says something in 2nd century, and the authors don't even identify themselves in the books.
So just because they didn't put their names down, like, hey, my name is John, my name is Matthew or Luke, and I'm writing this, you just automatically say, hey, they didn't write this at all?
Well, yeah, because like
how you feel?
Well, yeah, because like when it comes to other books, right? Like in the Bible, the authors clearly identify themselves. Why not these books?
I'm not sure specifically, unless because they didn't want to write their names down. But as you know, that these
Why is
people,
that?
except for maybe Luke, all the others were eyewitnesses of Christ.
Well,
and they
like,
each wrote from their own perspective and their own styles about Jesus.
I disagree
Some have
with
things
that.
mentioned that the other book doesn't.
In Corinthians,
written by
Paul
the same
admits that he
person.
never even met Jesus.
On God.
Well, Paul met Jesus on the road to Damascus when Jesus appeared to him. So
No,
yeah, he saw Jesus.
He saw a
light
and he heard a
voice.
Well,
That
who's the one
doesn't mean
speaking?
I've seen
It certainly
lights and
wasn't the
heard
soldiers.
voices.
They
Does that
didn't.
mean I've met Jesus?
The soldiers were not the ones who were speaking to him at the time.
Yeah, who was is the question.
It could be the case that
It
like
certainly wasn't Paul's own thoughts.
Could he have just been dehydrated or fallen off of a horse or been delusional?
Or I would say
Oh,
that
no,
Paul.
he wasn't delusional.
I would say that Paul was having
Christ
Paul-
spoke to him.
I would say that Paul was having an intense heat stroke, and it's very well known with heat strokes that people can have hallucinations. And the most common hallucination would be like an audible hallucination, where you hear things that aren't actually there.
Yeah, that can occur. But I highly doubt that's what happened.
Well, yeah. So like Paul's traveling in the desert with like maybe little supplies, and also he's feeling guilty about being a vicious persecutor of the church. And so what are the chances that he has a heat stroke and he has an audible hallucination, which are the most common hallucinations, along with, the people around him?
Right, and what are the chances of God appearing to somebody? That's not hard.
I mean, like,
You did
it's
it to
going to be...
Moses. You did it to Abraham. That's
Zero.
nothing new or hard for him to do.
Well, yeah, according to the Bible, but like, why should we trust the Bible? And also, like, any supernatural explanation is going to be way less likely than a naturalistic explanation that's going to be based off of like priors, right? Like the laws of physics or the laws of logic, or like, I mean, we can name like many other laws, things that we can actually like identify and observe in our current reality.
Okay, but when it comes down to miracles itself, it's a supernatural event. It's not something you find out here in nature. It's like, for example, I'm making this up. A apple falls from a tree. God can just reach his hand into this world and grab the apple or stop the apple from falling without it causing any type of weird disturbance in the entire reality of this realm, and nothing falls apart. And then he can just remove his hand. The apple continues to fall, hits the ground, and everything just kind of resets itself.
Was it a miracle?
It's not hard for him to do that.
Was it a miracle when God flooded the earth, drowned everyone on it except for 8 people, and then forced them into incest?
It's a miracle that we're even here.
No, specifically in Genesis
Pivot.
6, when God, wanted to wipe out the evil and the Nephilim, and then he failed to do either one, and he drowned everyone on earth except for 8 people, and then forced those 8 people into incest. Was that a miracle?
Well, he didn't force anybody to do anything.
Oh, of course he
If
did.
you continue reading, he said for them to go out and multiply because he needed to repopulate the world.
How can they multiply if all they have is their family? It was Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and their wives. That means that God forced them into incest. Do you agree with incest?
Well, you also got to remember at the same
That's
time.
not an answer to my question.
Noah.
Do you agree with God forcing Noah's family into incest?
Forrest. If you're asking me a question, let me finish answering.
Well, you didn't
All
answer
right?
yes or no. It's just a yes or no question.
I didn't finish. It's not a simple yes or no
You
question.
never
But let me
started.
finish.
You have to start off with yes or no. That's how you answer a question.
Forrest, let me answer it.
Okay, is it yes or no to start off with?
It's not a yes or no question, dude.
It literally is.
Now,
it's either you agree or you disagree. Do you agree with God forcing everyone into incest?
Forrest, stop cutting me off, man.
Is it a yes
I'm not
or
cutting
no,
you
Jared?
off. Don't cut me off.
Jared, if you say yes or no, I'll shut up.
Don't cut me off.
If you say yes or no,
Jared,
I'll shut
Jared, what do you think
Forrest,
about?
If you're gonna
what do you
act
think
like
about
that,
God
Forrest,
condoning?
I will not speak to you.
Okay,
Wait, hold
so you
on,
don't want to answer the question.
Wait, so Jared,
No,
what do you think?
I don't have a problem answering the question. It's just the way you're acting. If you keep acting like this, I'm not gonna bother talking to you. I'll talk to somebody else.
Wait, so
You won't be
Jared,
worth my time.
So Jared, what do you think about God like commanding grape in the Bible?
Well, he never commands anybody to go out there and start raping people. That's disgusting.
Not true. 2 Timothy 12:11-12. God does demand that King David's wives and concubines are raped at the purview of the highest city in the town by his own son, actually.
I was going to say 2
well.
Samuel 12:11 verse through 12.
Yeah,
but like I guess we have two
unfortunately, you just haven't read the Bible, Jared.
All right. Apparently, you don't understand what you're reading.
Wait, Jared, you called God Satan?
So that's another topic. We can talk about that later.
Wait, you called God Satan?
We can talk about that later.
That's amazing. He's on his way to becoming
really quick,
if we can convert Jared to atheism, I'll get off the app.
So really quick, so 2 Samuel chapter
There's
12
no such thing as
verse.
atheism.
Wait, hold on. So 2 Samuel chapter 12 verse 11 through 12, it reads, "Thus says the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight." That does really sound consensual. "For you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and in broad daylight." So what do you think about like God commanding grape essentially for the wives who I don't think have like a consensual choice here in the matter?
All right. Well, for starters, once again, God's not saying go out there and rape people. That's not what he's talking about. Now, when he's saying I'm going to give them, no, that's completely false. I don't know why people keep saying that. But no, this is a time where David is getting punished for his evil act in which he did.
Wait,
so
what's David's punishment?
Dealt out towards
what's
him.
David's punishment? David doesn't get a punishment. His wives and his son get a punishment.
His wives get.
David receives no punishment.
No, you guys are looking at this in the wrong direction.
What happened? What happened to David, Jared?
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. Let me hang on,
Jared,
guys.
What happened to David?
Around. Stop.
Wait, hold on. So Forrest, to be clear,
down.
David is getting punished by his wives getting raped by their neighbors.
Oh, and his son getting unalived by God.
Guys. Does it say rape anywhere? No, it doesn't. So
Wait, I don't think it's consensual.
Verbatim fallacy. Just remember, every time that you deny the Bible, you become.
Yes, sir. And that concludes our presentation and discussion of today. We do appreciate everybody who has come into this wonderful, lovely establishment. Like I say, as I always say at the very end of every live stream, we do appreciate you, every last one of y'all. Give yourselves a round of applause. With my round of applause, hold on. Let me go ahead and find it. It's in here somewhere. There it is. We appreciate every single last one of y'all. But I got to get out of here. All right. We've been live for about 4.5 hours. But nonetheless, we had a very great discussion. This was a very good live stream. Very, very well educated. Don't forget, screenshot this real quick. If you have any storage in your phone, screenshot this real quick. Be sure to be able to follow me or subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. And follow me right now on TikTok. All right? On the Tiki Talkie. If you have not followed me on TikTok throughout the duration of this whole live stream, just go ahead and click the follow button. All right? Because we hold many great discussions and many entertaining discussions and things of that nature. So if you haven't clicked the follow button, just go ahead and click it already, just so that you will be back around town for the next discussion that we have. Whether I'm live tomorrow or I'm live Wednesday, I probably won't be live tomorrow. I'll be joining somebody else's live most likely tomorrow. But I'll definitely be live Wednesday, and I'll be live on Friday. All right. And like I said, I just uploaded a YouTube video. I just uploaded it. So just go ahead, find me on YouTube. Like it says right here, it's the Omnis Rome. You just put in my name and just go to my most recent video on my channel, and you'll be able to find it there. All right. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on all notifications, and be able to binge watch all my content. If you have not been able to send any gifts or anything like that to support the live stream, that's quite all right. I am monetized on most of these platforms, so you watching my content, sharing it, liking it, commenting under it helps out the panel, the platform, and my social media brand. All right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we do appreciate everybody. Like I said from before, we do appreciate everybody who has come around, stuck around, who participated in the discussion. Y'all do not go overlooked. We do not dismiss it. We do appreciate everybody who was here in this wonderful, wonderful, fine I'm about to say a whole nother name. Monday. All right. We do hope that everybody has a wonderful night. If it's still the afternoon, wonderful evening, afternoon to evening, a good rest of your day. If you haven't started dinner yet, go ahead and get starting on dinner. If you haven't got any lunch, I don't know where you are right now, but go ahead and get some lunch. But yeah, go ahead and do that. Get jiggy with it, get busy with it. Tomorrow is Titty Tuesday, so if I'm not live tomorrow, a special pre-celebration to Titty Tuesday. We do appreciate all the beautiful, lovely women, big chested, little chested, the A cups, B cups, C, D, double D's, E, F, G. We do appreciate all of y'all from A to Z. All right, we do appreciate every single last one of y'all. So happy pre-celebration to Titty Tuesday. What's good, Miss Meme? Without you're going down. What what does that mean, Captain? What the hell? Deconstruction was good. But yes, we are about to carry on out. So we're gonna end off with a Negro spiritual. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God has spoken. So let the church say amen.
Did you guys get that? And when you type in Creator Search Insights, you'll get this. This is official TikTok right here. And from here, you'll click into